And here he is.
Alright, Sailor.
Come in here, come in here. Say hello to behind the
Hello,
white.
how are you?
We're boosted by Craig's return from the England camp. How was your time?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously frustrated not to get a game, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
We were frustrated as well, mate.
So
we were very frustrated.
Good to be back, and hopefully you can win a few games at T20 now.
Exactly. We're going to see you bowling some
Thunderbolts, hopefully.
Thunderbolts.
Full and wide potentially. Again, high strike rate sort of pulling gives room.
When he's going to run, you can see him. So he kind of gets his front foot like forward and across real early. So he kind of closes himself off like that. So you can see that he's going to come. So just keep watching them.
Bowls quick, leggies, and then he's also got, if you get after him, he's bowled like a genuine rapid, like 75 mile an hour like a ball.
Today is all about attitude. Obviously coming off two results that aren't ideal. It's all about attitude today.
Beautiful evening, crowds flocking in, hopefully get the first win.
News under the radar before. This is an exclusive, but you're playing today.
I think I'm in. So
Are you excited?
I am excited actually, first T20 of the year. Hopefully I go well.
Been a bit of nerves or not?
A little bit, yeah, always is before a game.
Yeah, you're a cool character though, aren't you? Lammers, pitch report.
Looks like a bit of a belt, right?
What
yeah,
about, we've just moved 2 wickets across, haven't we?
I think so, yeah. Sun's out, crowd's in.
Team news, no Lammers, no Eddie, no Lee tonight. So welcome back to Craig or Lewis Goldsworthy.
Well done, boys. Craigo, excited to be back in the mix? How much kit do you have? This is what happens when you're an international cricketer. Just literally taking over this corner of the ground. Of the change. You will.
Shot! Boy! You've got so much time.
Shot, Golders!
Big dinghy. Golders!
Shot, Lou! Oh my God! Johnson!
Can you?
Yes, my boys. Good. Yes, Golders. Maxi Goose. Yes, my boy. Awesome. Thank you. Let's go.
You little beauty! I'm so sweaty, sorry.
You are very sweaty.
Mobilised.
Guys, a couple of things for myself. I think, obviously outstanding team performance, but Abe's and Golders' partnership in the middle just shows what you can achieve. Proper cricket shots, run between the wickets, putting all the pressure on the opposition. Abe's was class above for me, fucking brilliant. And then in the field, for me that's what we do when we're at our best. But we need to be doing that actually when we're on the back foot as well. So we're brilliant from runners, we know that, but Craig O, brilliant starts for us, mate. Great energy, fucking different dynamics. Something for us to build on there, boys. Anything from you, Louis?
Yeah, I think Jay said a word at the start, character. That's a fucking unbelievable performance when we're under the pump. It's great to see. Now we could keep going, we keep building that momentum over the weekend. That's how we play T20 cricket. It's fucking outstanding.
Morning Somerset fans. Boys are just travelling off to Sussex. Unfortunately not making the trip, but I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Mr. Lambenby. So have a great trip everyone.
Thank you, I look forward to taking the reins and showing you what we're going to be up to. Hey guys, we just stopped off at Cobham Services on the way to Hove. We're travelling up on 2 separate buses and we got Will Smead here just to talk us through his bus journey and what he's been doing.
It's been a longer journey, I can't lie. A bit of traffic on the A303 as always, so now we're just stopping off for a little snack before dinner, do you reckon?
Yeah, a little snack. We've got Neil and Slug.
Hello.
Going to talk us through their meal options.
Meal, actually, I've just gone for a little snack. We've got a... Hello, it's Ben Green here. We've got a still strawberry water, just put that in front of you, nice and refreshing. For the starter, we've got some cashew nuts, lovely stuff, and a little bit of watermelon. Nice, healthy, refreshing snack.
Thanks for that, Ben.
I've got a chicken box.
Just a lovely little chicken box from Sluggy. So here we are in the cockpit of the bus, travelling to our first away game against Sussex in Brighton. At the front of the bus we've got Nick on the right and Head of Science and Medicine, Jamie Thorpe, sat on the left. Just take you on a quick tour of the bus. Got the old coaches at the front, full twaddle. Say hello to the camera. Watching a bit of the test match.
Yeah.
And Jace doing some homework or watching some Netflix. What are you watching?
Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys 2. Nice
Old
little
school,
film.
mate, old school.
Alright, lovely. And then Hildy and Trapman in the middle. What's been happening? What have you been doing, Max?
Sleeping, mate. Yeah.
Sleeping?
I can't believe chat for the whole year.
Okay, we've just got here to Sussex. It's looking, if you can see, it's looking a bit damp underfoot. I'm not sure what the forecast is also suggesting that there could be a bit of rain. So it could be a 5-hour trip there, 5-hour trip back for not a game. But fingers crossed.
Yay!
Does actually look good, actually.
You were on the end.
We've got Ian Blackwell with us, Somerset legend. He's just going to tell us what's going on at the ground.
Well, as you can see, the covers are off, but there is plenty of water on the outfield. And unfortunately, we're not going to have a game tonight, which is disappointing for all concerned.
Sharing the points?
Yeah, point each.
Unfortunately, the trip here in Hove has been cut short by rain, so all the kit's packed up again on the buses and looking forward to our trip home. So, see you on the other side.
Hi guys, I thought whilst I've got the opportunity, whilst I'm in the car with Tom Lambenby, I thought we'd do a nice little segment for Behind the Wyvern and a little pop quiz for Tom Lambenby. Favourite Somerset memory so far?
Favourite memory? It's tough. Probably the Bob Willis Trophy final last year.
The 100, the Bob Willis Trophy final.
But just being at Lord's, playing my first game there.
Yeah.
Playing for Somerset. Getting
Pretty
to
epic.
open the batting with you, so can't complain.
Stop it.
Just got home. It's been a long old trip, long old day without a lot played, is it?
Yeah, it's been horrifically long.
But yeah, just thankful to be home safe.
Saturday, we're back and we have the skybox here for our game against Glamorgan, so I'll show you. There's the pod from the changing room. The lads just having a few hits.
time to step up, yeah? Let's go out there, show what we're capable of. Let's go out for a load of fucking fun, alright? Go out there, let's fucking pump these boys. Good luck, go well.
Bit of rain, Smeedy?
It's not drizzle, it's... I think club cricket, you're probably out there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Not allowed in this sort of level of work.
Should we bring rolls into it?
Yeah, if you hit the roof, you're out.
Yeah, that's what the first one. And if you hit it, pass something on this side it's out as well.
No.
Yeah, because then it just takes away its volume.
Don't bowl yum-yums.
Yeah!
Gone over, that's well bowled though. This will not take long. Oh.
This is yummy.
Oi!
Hey!
That plan didn't go to court.
That?
And that is a wrap. That's us done. Surrey away today. Had the last couple of games rained off, so the lads are keen to get going. We've got a makeshift changing room here today. Paul Sweddle just getting prepped for.
How's it?
Ground looking lovely. What you got there?
Protein flapjack.
Yes, we've got a used wicket looking pretty dry. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of Matthew Jack Leach today. A couple of days after his 30th birthday. So yeah, we'll look forward to that, shall we? Don't make a mistake.
Feeling the pressure now.
Yeah, you haven't missed one since I've been down here. Though. You just love performing, for you.
I've got one on the shin now.
Yeah, I did see that.
First game of the year as well.
Bet it wasn't
Probably
Well,
two hat-tricks.
How far ahead is he in the Ballon d'Or?
This year?
Yeah.
I reckon, no joke, I reckon I'm 10 goals ahead.
10 goals ahead of everyone.
I played one game, one goal, shot.
You've not played one game. I've watched you involved in about 4 0-0 draws.
Three, one goal. But there's been 2 0-0 draws and 1-0.
So how is Slug on like 12 goals?
I don't know.
Is that the Red Bull like?
Red Bull Warrior, yeah.
Yeah.
So you get your goals in. Because they're all sleeping.
Yeah, they're all just chill.
Everyone's
stiff.
asleep.
Everyone's stiff as old boots. They
4
just,
games a week as well.
Yeah, that's true. 4 games a week. Waller's trying to work with only limited.
Yeah, exactly. I just got to play.
But I've not seen that. I've not seen that killer instinct that we've seen in previous years.
Why not today?
Anyone guess what game it is? Hildy time. Also, from a team news point of view, Leachy, good luck, mate, making your debut.
Yeah, nutter!
I think from a game point of view, the danger is we make huge assumptions. Okay, it's a tired surface, but it's all about our adaptability and that clear thinking. So I think it's okay for Hild and Bance if we bat first to have a little look, see what it does. On the flip side of that is if you get an opportunity in the game to capitalise and you feel whether it's spin or seam you can take down, it's important that you take the opportunity as well.
Hold it!
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because the tighter you are to the wicket, the more you can actually cover.
Yeah.
Because as you stand further back,
Yeah.
it's very tough.
So I don't see the value in it.
So it's a good discussion to have, isn't it, with the coaches to understand the rationale behind it.
Bowling in the woods. Well done, lads. Sat in the coach's corner in the stand. Neil's a happy man. We just won the game.
What a win. Lovely boy.
Oh, it's nice to just see the lads smiling, isn't it?
I want to start with one thing, and it's fucking grinding me. Our fielding is not up to fucking scratch. We're a young bunch of lads, we're professional sportsmen, it's not fucking good enough. Okay, so as the group goes, as we go through this group stage, we've got to fucking be on it, okay? Have to keep getting better, game in, we have to get better at it, okay?
Hildy?
Sorry, Lewis, just before you go. So on that, I think it's really important. I'll get Twez to lead on this. Is that we'll have some really strong conversations between now and the next game. So actually, you're really clear on what the expectations are. All right, so fucking spell it out, because it's incredibly frustrating for the athleticism that's in this room and something that's within our control. We're not where we need to be. All right, so Twez and I'll have a conversation and then we'll facilitate that. Okay? Sorry, Livy.
That's right. That second half though was fucking outstanding. On that surface to, was it 150, 148 on wickets that we normally struggle, that was fucking unbelievable. Hildy, that's what we talk about when we're talking about take it deep and taking the game on and being the guy at the end, taking that responsibility. It's fucking outstanding, mate. 200th game. And then that partnership with Smeedy, outstanding, mate. That's brilliant.
Hello and welcome to Taunton for this T20 Blast game between Somerset and Middlesex. Somerset have had a busy week of fixtures, a couple of wins and a defeat in there. They'll be looking to make the most of home conditions here. Lots happening, and on the pitch, as you can see at the moment, Middlesex players warming up in front of us. We're also expecting the toss to be done very shortly. We'll bring you that live here on the stream. Somerset fans in the ground again, hoping to see some decent Somerset performances. And Devon Conway, who's been excellent for Somerset so far this season, yet to really get going at home though, so we'll hopefully see him score some runs as well. We'll take you through both teams, and we'll do much more besides. I'm Charlie Taylor. Alongside me is Sam Dowling, who has been looking into things ahead of tonight's game. Currently head deep in statistics there, Sam. Should be an interesting game. Middlesex not had a great season so far.
No, absolutely right. Evening, everyone. They've had a difficult start, well, both in the county championship, and they rolled that over into the Blast. But this last week, much like Somerset, actually, they've had a bit of a change in fortunes. They've won a couple of games. They won their last two, won only last night. I mean, that's the scheduling that teams are faced with right now. They were at home at Lords last night and then straight down to Somerset today, but I think a win always helps that. So they won there. They won at home to Glamorgan last weekend. They had a rained-off game down at the Aegeus Bowl. So what we were saying a little bit before we came on air, wasn't it? Technically, Somerset just a 1 defeat in 8 if you count those couple of rained-off games. So Somerset having a really good week, couple of wins, 3 away games, 2 wins, just that defeat at Essex, and Middlesex always also on good form. So it's going to be could be an exciting one tonight.
Yeah, Somerset, when you look at the table now, find themselves 4th. Of course, that is a qualification place. However, they are only 1 point off top place Surrey, and they have a game in hand over Surrey as well. So it is tight at the moment in the South group. We'll keep you up to date with some of the other games as well as they are happening in front of us. Lewis Gregory's yet to turn up for the toss. The toss was supposed to happen a couple of minutes ago. You can see the Middlesex captain there. The umpire's ready to go. I'm not sure what's happened to Lewis Gregory. We will hopefully be able to spot him soon and bring you the latest toss news. We were having a look actually back at tosses. Lewis not having the best of luck here at Taunton, but in the tosses that he has won this season in the T20 Blast, every single time, I think it's 3 you mentioned, he's chosen to bowl. So clearly wants his team to be chasing targets this year.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Lewis is notoriously relaxed, and this is a very relaxed attendance for the toss, and it looks like it might be Craig Overton actually walking his way out there. But yeah, Lewis has won the 3 tosses, bowled on each occasion.
Yeah, it is Craig Overton who's making his way over to the umpires rather than Lewis Gregory. We haven't had the official team sheet yet, so as far as we know, everything's all right with Lewis Gregory. He's reading some kind of note being brought to him there. We'll let you know as soon as possible what's going on, but it's Craig Overton who seems to be ready to do the toss, and we'll head down there in just a moment as Stephen Finn, the opposing captain, dressed in pink and blue as Middlesex playing. He's just having a chat with the umpires as well. This should be an exciting game. It's Friday night cricket under the lights here at Taunton. It's a dry night, which is excellent news. Looks a bit iffy, the forecast coming up, but tonight looking good, as we can see the 2 captains there just having some kind of chat with the umpire ahead of the toss. And we've just news just coming into us. Lewis Gregory is injured. That's a shame. He's been playing really well. 5 for last night, and news just coming into us. Lewis Gregory, the captain, is injured, Sam. So that's a surprise to us here. That could be really a problem for Somerset after such good bowling performances this week.
Yeah, it's a big blow, that, isn't it, to lose Lewis 5 for last night, but in the last couple of weeks, last few games, he's been in great form. Since that death over here a week ago against Hampshire, where there were a few people were a bit surprised he bowled it ahead of Craig, but he took the ball, bowled beautifully, and has picked up wickets all week. And that's
to the middle. The toss has been made. Stephen Finn, the Middlesex captain, has called, and it looks like Middlesex have won the toss. So Craig Overton is captaining Somerset tonight. Craig, stay with us, but first of all, Stephen Finn, you've won the toss for Middlesex. What are you going to do?
We're going to have a bowl first.
Okay, reasons for that, Stephen?
It's a hybrid wicket. I think they obviously play very good here. A shorter side, that side. We fancy chasing, and we bowled well last night, so it's a good way to move into this game.
Yeah, good win for you last night. Tell us about any team changes for tonight's game, and what's your team lineup?
No changes, the same team as last night.
Okay, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. Let's welcome the stand-in skipper for Somerset this evening. Let's give him a big Taunton welcome, Craig Overton. Craig, first of all, let me ask you what the reason is for you coming in as captain tonight.
Yeah, Lewis has tweaked his knee in warm-up just then, so a bit of a late change, but we'll stick at it and we'll hopefully get another win tonight.
You followed on the tradition of Lewis losing the toss here in home games. How do you feel about batting first?
Yeah, it's obviously not ideal, but we've got to go out and perform, and if we bat well first up, then we put the score on the board and put under pressure, and hopefully we can do the same as the ball the last couple of nights.
What a tremendous night it was last night. Always good to beat Gloucestershire, the local rivals at Bristol. I know a lot of the fans here tonight will have watched that on the live stream last night. You went well last night. What's the news on the team for tonight, Craig?
Same team. Obviously Lewis is out and Tom Lammonby's in. But yeah, last night we played really well. We haven't won there in 5 or 6 years. So to get a good win against the noisy neighbours is always nice, and hopefully we can carry that form on to tonight.
Okay, Craig, go well tonight. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. That's the Somerset captain for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Craig Overton. So there, a reminder, once again, Somerset losing the toss in these home games here. Middlesex.
Craig Overton, we've just heard Lewis Gregory with a bit of a knee issue. And so he won't be playing tonight. It's going to be Tom Lammonby taking his place in what is otherwise an unchanged 11 from 24 hours ago when Somerset were in Bristol, just up the road. We mentioned it's been a very busy week for these sides. I wonder if that is a game on Monday, game on Tuesday, game last night, a game here tonight, plus a championship game coming up next week. You know, there's a lot of cricket going on in the height of the summer.
Yeah, and it's the travelling as well, isn't it? Going from playing these elite athletes who are putting their bodies through. You know, there's a lot of shot goes through the body when you're bowling, and actually, I'm not sure exactly what the arrangements have been, but if they've had to jump on coaches straight afterwards and things like that, that always just builds up. And so Somerset fans will be really hopeful that's only a minor injury and clear up relatively soon, because that could be a big blow. The loss of, well, an England international, the skipper, a fine bowler, and someone capable of hitting a very long ball as well.
Matchday Marcus just had to dive out of the way. I don't know if we managed to catch that on the cameras, but a bit of catching practice went wrong there from Middlesex, and Matchday Mark was sent flying almost by a bit of catching practice going on. Yeah, you're right, and you have to kind of get straight on the coach in that kind of layout of the games. As I said, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That gives you one day off, and there's 3 of those games, the first 3 in a row, all away games. I mean, it did help that Kent and Essex were consecutive nights. Obviously, saves you having to come all the way back and drive all the way back out there, but still a lot of travelling and a lot of cricket as well. So we wait for more information on how long Lewis Gregory might be out for, but not in tonight. No Tom Abel. He's going to be joining us a bit later on. James Hildreth, we heard, had a hip problem and so isn't playing tonight. Tom Banton's been called up to England. You know, Roland van der Merwe only played 1 game so far, so some real issues with injuries and call-ups here. So Somerset playing a lot of players who, you know, given a great chance now to seize an opportunity.
Yeah, quite. And if you look through that Somerset team sheet, it's still a very strong side. So that's kudos to the coaches and the setup here. I mean, Tom Lammonby, but for his poor run at the start of the season, would almost have been a shoe-in, you'd have thought, on last year's form in the T20 side. So while they are real blows and real quality players going out, it's exciting to see some of the youngsters coming in. I mean, George Bartlett, Will Smead has done so well. Will Smead and Lewis Goldsworthy, who've slotted in at 3 and 4 there. I mean, Devon Conway's come in, but they lost the entire top 4 from the first game of the season, really. And Will Smead and Lewis Goldsworthy have taken it like ducks to water. They look really composed and brilliant players. So there's still plenty to be hopeful about for Somerset fans.
Yeah, we're getting confirmation now. A bit more detail for you that Middlesex won the toss. They've chosen to bowl, so we will see Somerset batting first, which again going against what skipper Lewis Gregory is trying to do every time he wins the toss. So once again, it's a loss at the toss for Somerset, but we'll see them bat first. And let's have a quick word on Devon Conway, shall we? Who's played so well in these away games. Actually, you could say last night's victory was hugely down to a great performance from him. There was a fantastic innings as well in the Kent game on Monday, and not to mention a half-century in the defeat to Essex as well. So someone who's just consistently come into the squad, only scored 5 here in the first game, but has scored 50s in every game since.
Yeah, I mean, you can never guarantee runs, but as far as you can go, someone like Devon Conway has just scored run after run everywhere he's been for the last 18 months. 2 years, whatever format, he just takes to it beautifully. And yes, I think Dan Kingdon put out I quite liked one of his stats. He's really good on Twitter, Dan, with his stats. I think Devon Conway is now Somerset's highest run scorer in T20 Blast history without scoring a 6. So it just shows you don't have to be a power hitter to have success in this format of the game.
Absolutely. So we're looking forward to seeing a bit more of him today. We'll see others in action. Quick run through the side, as you mentioned, Bartlett, Conway, Smead, Goldsworthy, who I thought played really well alongside Conway yesterday. Lewis Gregory not in the side. We can tell you that was during the warm-ups that he's tweaked his knee, is to use the official terminology we've been given. So it'll be Lammonby who comes in for Gregory. Eddie Byron, Ben Green, Craig Overton, standing skipper, Marchant de Lange, Jack Brooks, and Max Waller-Brooks, who's been doing really well, and we'll come on and talk a bit about him later on. Right now, let's find out a bit more about the chosen charity for tonight's game. 50 quid for every 6, £150 for every 6 that goes out of the ground, which Sam will be making the call on throughout the evening. Let's find out a bit more now about the charities. We hear from someone who was on Somerset's books for a long time, back in the late 80s and early 90s, as we catch up with Stuart.
I'm with Stuart Prescott of Chance to Shine. Stuart, you're about to take on the UK's toughest cycling challenge. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here. I am about to cycle from John O'Groats to Land's End. I began the pandemic without a bike. I thought I'm going to use this time I've got now, and I bought a bike. I've got fit, and I thought, well, I'll try and do something and make use of that, that new fitness. So I'm taking on the challenge, and I'm going to try and raise money for Chance to Shine and Cystic Fibrosis Trust.
So you've obviously improved a little bit on the bike, but why now?
Well, I was born with CF. CF is a condition that affects the lungs, and for lots of my life I've coped with it quite well. But in my 30s and 40s I started to deteriorate a little bit. But I've been really lucky in that I've received new drugs that have pretty much reversed my lung deterioration. So I'm now fit enough to do it. Just made it up the gorge, one of the 7 wonders of Somerset. Had to find a third lung. Was overtaken by some pedestrians and a lot of worried looks, people wondering if they should come in and help, but done it. Right, now on to home. Within the family, why now? Well, my sister wasn't so fortunate. She had a lung transplant, and unfortunately she passed away 2 years ago. So what's driving me on is partly her memory, but also the opportunity to see if I can raise funds so more people have opportunities like I've had.
Will that make the journey even more special and maybe drive you on a little bit more?
Yeah, it will. I mean, she was kind of heroic. She was a teacher for 25 years. She was really small in stature, but dealt with kind of large sixth formers, and she always took on challenges and battles with kind of great fortitude. So I hope to do the same.
And you're going with 2 buddies as well, is that right?
Yeah, 2 friends, Matt Thiedem and Scott Chappell. Both work in cricket. They will be there to support and help me and drag me down from the top to the bottom.
And can you tell us a little bit more about the 2 charities and what you're hoping to achieve?
Well, Chance to Shine is a cricket charity. We help children learn the game in schools and in the local communities through our street programs, because we just believe that every child should have the opportunity to play cricket and to learn through sport. Obviously, Cystic Fibrosis Trust is a charity close to my heart. When I was born in 1971, life expectancy was early 30s. This year I celebrate my 50th year, so I will be, when I complete it, the oldest person to have completed the challenge with CF. I want to make sure that we raise funds so that people have the opportunity to live both fulfilling lives but also live long and active lives, and new medical treatments and advances of science really help with that.
And if people want to support you on your journey, how can they get involved?
They can search Stuart Prescott in Virgin Money Giving, and if they see me cycling down, they can give us a wave and a shout, and that would be fantastic.
Thanks for your time, Stuart, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Really looking forward to it, and thanks for all the support.
Great effort, Stuart, and we're very pleased that there'll be some money going for some fantastic charities for CF, and I'm sure many of you will know people or perhaps do have cystic fibrosis and the impact that can have on your lives. So really great to be raising money for a charity that helps people deal with it, and also to Chance to Shine, which is a great cricket-based charity. So good luck to Stuart Prescott and also to Matt Thiedem and Scott Chappell, who are involved with that as well. Very pleased to say that me, Charlie Taylor, and Sam Dowling up here have been joined by club captain Tom Abel. Tom, great to see you up here. Shame you're not on the pitch, but great to have you with us. Thanks.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. Joining a pretty well-oiled machine up here, I think. So, no, first time obviously. Not ideal, you know. I'd love to be playing, but obviously it can't be the case at the moment. But looking forward to watching the boys. You know, we've been on a bit of a run, playing really well recently. So, yeah, it's good to enjoy it in the company of you two as well.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind. Obviously, Jack Brooks warmed it up. You're the headline act. Jack Brooks warmed you up.
I don't know.
Last time
Tough
we were
act
here.
to follow. I think Brooksy's got far better chat than me.
Let's talk about you firstly, because we've had a few people. We mentioned it on Twitter. They're saying, "Well, how come you're not involved?" We should say you're injured. It's not like you've turned down a chance to play to be here. How's your injury going? Remind us what it was and how recovery's coming.
Yeah, I just had a little hamstring tear, but I don't think it's anything too major. I feel really good at the moment. I'm desperate to be back playing, to be honest, but I think got to respect, what the physio says. You know, he probably knows far better than me. But it's feeling really good, and I'm pretty optimistic that hopefully in the next week or so I'll be able to get back fit and playing. But as the boys don't need me, been doing better without me. So, as long as that's the case, I'll happily, sit and watch.
Well, the timings were, if you're going to have a hamstring tear, have it on the eve of Devon Conway arriving, to take a place at least, as timing-wise it was good. But actually that's been very quick recovery. I mean, some people will see hamstring tear and think, oh, that's, 6 weeks out, but actually that's been a quick recovery. So is that because it's not been a particularly bad tear?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm probably not the best person to ask, but it was obviously sore for a few days. Had probably a week or so where I wasn't really doing much, and then it seems to have recovered pretty well. But like you say, obviously never a good time to get injured. I was desperate to be playing, involved in the comp. But it is what it is, and obviously Devon's come in and he's done all right for us, hasn't he? So
very nicely indeed. And then you got to work your way back into this side now, Tom. They're doing well, winning games. You got
it's
players
brilliant.
Pulling out performances.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see. Obviously we got off to a pretty tricky start at the start of the competition, and I think if we're honest, we're probably not quite where we needed to be, and still probably not quite there, but I think we're learning really quickly, and guys are sort of figuring out their roles in the side, and obviously guys have really stepped up, and it's been amazing to see how the team have sort of come together after a tough start. And we found a bit of momentum in the competition that we knew at the start of the comp, if we get that first win on the board, momentum and confidence is a big thing in 2020 cricket, and it's been great to watch the boys. They've been doing fantastically well. Not always played our best necessarily, but finding ways to win, which is so important. And such a talented group, very young side still. It's been brilliant to witness.
What are you like injured, Tom? Are you someone that watches every ball, or do you like to? Are you kind of like jumping up, having to watch that hamstring, or do you like to switch off from it a little bit?
No, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a Somerset boy, a Somerset fan, and just love absolutely everything about it. So, last week against Hampshire was my first time sort of watching in the stands for a few years. And look, it's obviously it can be tough when you can't affect the game. Because of course I'd love to be playing, but equally, it's been great to sort of watch the boys, and we've been on a bit of a run and playing some good cricket, and hopefully tonight we can get another win on the board, because I think it's very tight at the top. So you need to keep winning, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's extremely tight. And how good a couple of those young lads that have come in. That's a credit to the academy system, really. Will Smead and Lewis Goldsworthy have come in. They've played a handful of games each, and they just look so composed out there, don't they?
Yeah, it's incredible, to be honest, and I sort of can't speak highly enough of those guys. Obviously, supreme talents, but the composure, the temperament, and the skill, that they've shown through these games, and they've come in pressurised situations a number of times, and the way they've performed has been incredible, really. So yeah, full credit to those guys, and in all formats, they've just come in and performed sort of from the off. So that's been great for those guys, of course, and for us as a team.
Well, it's great to have you up here, Tom. Thanks very much. Looking forward to your insight
Thank
during
you.
the game. We're enjoying those behind the Wyvern slots as well. Have you been watching those? Ollie Sale having a good time with the camera in hand?
Yeah, I mean, Sailor's been brilliant, hasn't he? Obviously taking charge of those little documentaries. And yeah, I guess it just gives a little taste of sort of what it's like behind the scenes. And yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare at the start, wasn't it? Because we lost our first two and you thought, oh God, this could be a bit awkward. But no, obviously the last few games, we've got a few wins under our belt and yeah, everything's rosy.
Yeah, actually that was really interesting from an outsider's point of view, seeing the reaction to a loss like that. Tom's with us all night, so we're looking forward to finding out a bit more about him. Let's find out a bit about the thoughts of one of the coaches here. We're going to be heading down to Matchday Mark in a second, who's going to be chatting to Jason Kerr, head coach, so we'll find out a bit more from him, and we'll be back here in the commentary box with Tom Abel after this, with Jason Kerr and Matchday Mark.
So we're not far away from the start of tonight's game in just over 10 minutes' time. With me is the Somerset head coach, Jason Kerr. First of all, news on Lewis Gregory. That was a late injury, I gather.
Yeah, during warm-up, unfortunately, he's felt something in his calf. We're not quite sure what it is yet. Obviously, we'll assess him as soon as we can ahead of Sunday's game. But, we've had 4 games in 5 days, and it's taken its toll.
So Craig Overton gets the nod as captain. I'm not sure he's captain Somerset in T20, but in at the deep end for him tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he's got nothing to lose. He's a leader within our environment. It's a great opportunity for him to captain the club, and I'm sure he'll do a great job.
As you mentioned, Jason, games coming thick and fast. I mean, I can't remember a schedule as hectic as this for T20 in previous years, but 4 games in 5 days and pretty much a decent week for Somerset this week. Rounded off with what a tremendous night that was last night.
Yeah, it certainly makes it a lot easier when you're winning, that's for sure. And last night's performance was a real complete performance. So the guys are full of confidence from that. And, no excuses, they'll go hard tonight as well.
4 games to go now. It's getting, as I said earlier, towards the business end of the group stages. You're in a great position, and bearing in mind the slow start you had to this competition, you're really up there now challenging, aren't you?
Yeah, the real strength of this group is the character and resilience, and they've shown that. We've had some really good results. We've had a couple of poor performances as well in there, so we've been a little bit hit and miss, but coming to the back end, we've got better and better game by game, so, a couple more wins and hopefully we're there.
I know we seem to say it every time, but you've relied quite heavily on the youngsters this season, and people like Will Smead, Lewis Goldsworthy, they've not let anyone down, have they? They are performing really, really well for you at this level.
Yeah, they're getting better and better game by game, and I think what's really exciting for us and for the club long term is actually how they're learning through performances. Lewis Goldsworthy is a great example. The composure he showed and maturity last night to take the game home was superb.
And finally, just a word about Middlesex. Obviously, they had a big win as well last night, so they're coming back into some form. It's going to be a great night under lights, isn't it? With the hybrid wicket that Ollie was talking about coming on fast. We're going to get a lot of runs, and it's going to be a good one tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully it's, last year, I think the year before, we had an unbelievable game against Middlesex, high scoring on the same wicket. So hopefully it's the same, but with a different result.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Somerset head coach, Jason Kerr. So there we are. One more reminder.
Jason Kerr, head coach, speaking to Matchday Mark Tyler there at the boundary's edge. Ground filling up nicely. New stand, the temporary stand they've put in, can take another few hundred people in there. And I see there are fans now back in front of what was the makeshift dressing room for you guys, the changing room. So you've had to give that back to the fans. It's quite a nice view from up there, Tom, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. We had a lot of space, that's for sure. I think the gym's still over there. So that's obviously been like an amazing sort of facility, really. So much space now. But look, I mean, obviously the priority is getting as many sort of fans and supporters back in as we can. And it's great seeing the ground fill up and having supporters back. The atmosphere the other evening against Hampshire was amazing. Such a close game. I think that's what we all love. Yeah, that was great to commentate on as well, especially as the Somerset turned the screw in the last few overs, drew it back towards them. As you can see from the pictures there, ground is emptied as far as the pitch is concerned. So Middlesex players just waiting to come out. We can see Devon Conway waiting to come on the pitch as well. So there they are, the Middlesex players ready to field, and the 2 Somerset batsmen
who will be coming out to open in just a moment. It is a dry day, high cloud around here, so we're not going to get those beautiful sunny shots that we've had from the Hampshire game and various other nice evenings, but it is good enough for a T20 game, which is what we want to hear tonight after what looks like it's going to be a pretty wet week on the way. So to get this game in would be great for Somerset and for Middlesex as well. Both will have thoughts of qualifying for quarterfinals. Somerset currently 4th in the table. And we will also be seeing Middlesex, if they can win tonight, move up closer towards that 4th spot as well. Okay, let's take a look at what the pitch is doing, as we can find out a bit more with Ollie Sale, who's been down there taking a look at things. We're on the hybrid pitch tonight.
Welcome Somerset fans, it's a Friday night and we're welcoming Middlesex to the Cooper Associates County Ground this evening. Just having a look at the pitch, I've been asked to do the pitch report. Same pitch as the women's game, I've been told. Fairly even boundaries. This is actually a hybrid pitch, which tend to sort of stay firm for longer. It's absolutely rock hard. You can probably hear that. Groundsman said it's going to play like a belter. It played well the other day. I'm expecting something similar today, so hopefully we'll see some runs and some pace in the wicket.
Ollie Sale there taking a look through the pitch for us. Tom, you've played on the hybrid. It's been there a couple of seasons now. What's it like? Is it any different? Do you notice there's a batter at all on that?
I mean, I just think they're really good sort of 2020 wickets, you know. Probably tough for the bowlers, but, you know, they've been really high sort of run-scoring games when we played on them in the past, which is obviously great for the crowd. Should be good entertainment, and I'm sure tonight will be no different. The wickets have been really good that we played on sort of right throughout the competition, you know, pretty high-scoring games. So hopefully we'll have another one of those tonight.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Absolutely. It'd be good. The high-scoring games are great, although quite often it's the low-scoring games that get more tense towards the end, as we found out with Hampshire and the Surrey game away for Somerset as well. They've had a few low scorers, but been able to defend them or chase them down in tricky conditions. So
as long as we win, I don't mind whether it's high-scoring or low-scoring.
Yeah, I was trying to think when Somerset last played on a hybrid, because we haven't seen one this year. Up at Edgbaston, there was that really high-scoring game last year against Worcestershire, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the highest ever score.
Tiny boundaries.
Away from home. Yeah, that was not a good day to be a bowler, I don't think, was it?
Yeah, tiny boundaries, which is not something you always say about Edgbaston, is it? The tiny boundaries, but it was a televised game, I guess, and it was a double header as well. I'm right in saying they did a few double headers, because obviously Worcester and Somerset, that's both for them an away game, isn't it, Edgbaston? Anyway, the players are coming out. We're here during the 2021 T20 Blast season. All games happening, I think, at everyone's home ground. None of those slightly odd double headers going on. The lights are on, not taking too much of an effect just yet. It's a little bit gloomy, but Somerset won't mind that too much. They've played well in these conditions all this week. This is their 4th game in 5 days since Monday, so they should be in form by now. Let's see how they get on. Sam Dowling alongside me, Charlie Taylor, for this T20 Blast group game, South Group, between Somerset and Middlesex, and we're joined by club captain, currently injured, Tom Abel, who's hoping to make a bit of a comeback potentially very soon. Thank you so much for watching us here. Remember to send us how you're watching it. Stream in style. Use the hashtag StreamInStyle at It's Trade Nation at Somerset CCC. Make sure they can see how you're watching the game tonight. Plus, of course, Sam will be doing trade in, trade out. We'll see if we can persuade Tom Abel to spin the wheel behind Sam here. And if you're registered for that, you could win a huge amount of prizes. So well worth making sure you stay with us during the interval as well. But right now, the score is none for none as we wait for this first ball to come. It will head towards Devon Conway, and it's George Bartlett at the other end here on the live stream with Somerset County Cricket Club as we wait for the start of this T20 game. It's the left-handed Conway who gets ready to face up. They're going to start off with spin. Quite a common thing this time. That's nice shot there. Instantly finding a nice cut shot really through the cover area And there's 4 off the first ball from Conway, much like he did last night.
Yeah, that's what you want to get going, isn't it? Mujib's such a good bowler. He's been so economical in the 2 games he's played for them so far. Interesting field, because I've noticed a lot of the time he starts with mid-on, almost standing on the non-striker. So the mark of how good touch Devon Conway's in is that mid-on is actually back already.
And again, this time, trying to find that gap. Just a forward push, not great bit of fielding there. And it goes through the fielder. They'll think of coming back for 2, but in the end, it's just the 1 run. Conway moves on to 5. And the score is 5 for no loss off just 2 balls. Mujib, who is does the rounds these days, doesn't he, in T20 cricket, getting all over the world, picked up by Middlesex this year.
Yeah, second spell there. It's hard to believe he's only 20. He seems to be around for absolutely ages, but there you go.
He comes now to Bartlett, who survives longer than he did yesterday, getting out first ball. So I guess he'll be quite pleased to see that he's still there, waiting for his first T20 run this year. Gives himself a bit of room, plays it through the gap just behind point, and that will run away for 4 as well. Played through the line of it, just a bit of width offered by Mujib, and that is 4 runs, and Bartlett's off the mark.
Yeah, we'll give him a little bit of confidence, that, wasn't it? Didn't quite time it perhaps perfectly, was in the air for a little bit, kept that man at backward point, interested slightly, but yeah, just into the gap, and a brilliant start for both Somerset batters.
9 for no loss. 2 balls left of the first over. Crowd goes quiet as Mujib comes in again, and this one just played into the leg side. They think about a single, but Conway's not interested. What will that mean to Bartlett to get some T20 runs? He's doing well in the red ball, but would like to. I guess you all want to be playing all formats, really, don't you?
We do. You know, George is a very ambitious lad. He's obviously done really well in red ball cricket for us, but I know he certainly wants to make a mark in 2020 cricket.
Well, here he is playing it onto the leg side. There'll be certainly room for 1 there, and they'll probably come back for a second. Yes, they will. Throw's not great, and so 2 was fairly easy. So a decent first over. A couple of boundaries in it for Somerset, 1 each for Conway and Bartlett, and the score moves on to 11 from the first over, and that's not too bad from Mujib. Getting going can be a bit of a tough one sometimes. Bowling spin first up if you get attacked, but having gone for first ball for 4, actually only 7 from the last 5.
Yeah, and in the power play as well. And we've moved over a couple of strips from last week again, haven't we? So there's almost that slightly shorter leg side boundary over there to the right hander from the river end. So I think we're going to see Tom Helm. He opened up last night, quick bowler. Been at Middlesex a long time now, almost a decade there. I think he was in that 55-man England wider squad last summer and was a reserve for the Ireland ODI series and for England over in South Africa in the winter. So a serious cricketer as well. Good pace. They've got a couple of quick bowlers. Blake Cullen's playing as well for Middlesex. They've got good pace. Steve Finn, very, very good attack. Shouldn't be underestimated at all. We'll see what Devon Conway's got first up. Just works it into the leg side. Little push, so they'll think about a second, but they won't come back. Man scrambles round from deep square leg to do the fielding. Nathan Souter again, part of their spin attack. I mean, is there a better spin attack, do you think, on the circuit with 2, with Mujib and Souter in T20 cricket, Tom?
I mean, it's hard to say. Off the top of my head, you know, they're obviously a quality spin attack. Mujib, very wily sort of performer, very skillful bowler, really sort of cramps you for room and really difficult to get away. So I think very good start in the first over, that's for sure.
Sam, oh, he's got an edge, got to go. Bartlett's standing there. No, he hasn't. 5-pad then. Bartlett kind of gave himself some room. I've got overexcited up in the commentary box. Keeper and first slip went up. Let's have a look.
Yeah, Bartlett never turned. I don't think he really looked round, did he, afterwards? Let's have a look. He does. But then instantly down. Not too bothered by it.
Yeah, making his mark straight away again. Yeah. You never know psychologically. Basically making it very clear to the umpire that he didn't hit it. Middlesex. In the end, it was a free quarter. Not quite half-hearted appeal, but almost 3/4. Helm comes back to his mark. He starts way outside the 30-yard circle. Busy at the crease from Bartlett. Pushes that into the leg side. They'll think about 2 and they'll get 2. Good running there. Daryl Mitchell the second Daryl Mitchell in county cricket. Of course, there are only 2 Daryl Mitchells. New Zealander Daryl Mitchell, one of an absolute plethora of New Zealanders really playing in county cricket this summer, which has been really enjoyable to see.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? You sort of see different groups of international players come depending on the tours happening over here. So New Zealand's tour was an early one. It means that they all were pretty much all free to carry on. Somerset did well with Conway. Looked very good last few games.
Bartlett busy at the crease as he always is. Comes down the wicket, has a swipe at that one. Squirts out to deep square leg and they come through for a single. Yeah, I mean, there's some decent cricketing talent in New Zealand, isn't there, for a nation of relatively small numbers. There's some fine players. We had Clem de Grandhomme here last week, so we've had 3 in the last couple of weeks here.
Well, you can see in New Zealand side they're in the World Cup final. They're World Test champions. You wouldn't be that surprised if they won the T20 World Cup later this year. They're a team that perform highly at all levels. So
yeah, quality side. I also think, in an overseas player that you look for like good characters that are going to bring something to the environment, and we've certainly been very lucky, and Devon is probably as good as it gets.
He is as good as he gets. He's taken a step down the wicket. It's got the outside edge, but it's gone all the way for 6. Third man was interested a little bit, and Dan Kingdon will be happy. That's Devon Conway's first 6 in Somerset colours. First 6 of the game. 50 quid for charity as well. We're up and running, courtesy of It's Trade Nation. Let's have a look at that.
When you're in form, they go for 6. When you're not, they go straight to hand, those ones.
Absolutely. And do you remember, so I'll take you back, nearly a decade ago when Devon was playing club cricket? There was you and Marcus Harris playing, who'll be here on Sunday, of course, at Taunton, and then Devon in Taunton Dean. Not bad.
Yeah, it was 2010. I remember vividly playing second team cricket with Devon, actually. He made a sort of real impact on everyone when he played back then, and we were desperate to get him back should the opportunity arise, which it has done.
Better come back there from Tom Helm, who just finishes off that over. Cramps Conway for style. Swish of the hands from Conway. Replays the shot he was keen to play, but it was a good finish to the over from Helm.
And do you think it means something to Devon Conway to be back at Somerset, or would he just have gone to whichever county was available? It didn't really matter which one.
No, I mean, I can't speak for Devon, but incredibly humble guy, and I think he was desperate to come back to Somerset. Obviously, having connections here from his previous stint in England. But I think that says a lot about the type of person he is. He was desperate to, come back and play for us, and huge credit to him, because international players, their fixtures are pretty full, and he's probably in demand all around the world now. But yeah, he was really committed to sort of coming to play for us, and we're hugely grateful to have him. We want him to enjoy his time, obviously, and he's just a great guy to have around. He's got incredibly humble. He's got time for everyone. He's sort of gives his time and has chats with sort of everyone in the dressing room, and just pleasure to be around, really.
And churns out runs as well, which is great. It's Bartlett on strike here to Stephen Finn, who's starting his first over, and he's played that straight to the fielder at mid-on, and Finn picks up a wicket first ball. That is the end of George Bartlett, who goes for 9 runs. Disappointing way to get out that, just to play it so simple, to offer such a simple catch-up to the fielder just on the edge of the 30-yard circles at mid-on. Disappointing there, Sam, watching that.
Yeah, see what he was trying to do. I think Finn saw him coming, didn't he? Took a couple of steps down the track and just put it in a bit shorter. Quality T20 bowler. Well, quality bowler all round, Stephen Finn. So much England experience, played in an international World Cup in the T20, and he's by far, I think he's Middlesex's leading wicket taker in this format, and he's got about double as many. He's got 125, and the next highest is Souter with 67 after last night, I think. I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but yeah, just a top performer.
Yeah. Smead then coming in, young talent coming through the Somerset ranks. Nice guy. Someone who Somerset fans might not know as much as someone like Bartlett. Yeah, good guy.
Absolutely lovely boy, yeah. Such a nice lad. Again, incredible talent, but I think he's shown it's more than talent at the moment, the way he's been playing.
Finn in again, and this one is played down onto the leg side, just in front of the fielder. There's a direct hit from the throw, but Conway was well in, and there's just the 1 run added.
Yeah, we all know what Smeady's capable of, having played with him, sort of the last couple of years. But what's really impressed me is of how he's gone about his last few innings. We've played on some slightly tricky surfaces, and the way he's adapted his game, he can hit such a clean ball. So much of 2020 cricket, I think, is about your mindset and your thinking. And yeah, he's got a lot going for him. He's a very switched on lad, as well as obviously a a very clean ball striker.
Finn in again over the wicket to Conway, who does that typical flick. We got so used to that in his 200 that he scores. Comes down the wicket, plays it pretty square onto the leg side with his back leg in the air. Good to watch that on the replay if we can, because that is a really typical Devon Conway shot, which is funny because we only burst onto the scene really this year as far as English fans are concerned. Just caught the end of it there. But that's a shot which is already, you sort of see that and think of him really. It's a good looking shot. Didn't bring up the 4 runs he was hoping for. Brings Smeed on to strike. This one goes down the leg side, will be given as a wide. Smeed there still on naught just to get off the mark, because it was given as, I think a leg by the previous one.
Yeah, another man who's already in a very short career making that trademark, well, that flick off his legs, the shot we've seen him play a couple of times here and at Surrey the other week, that sails over the square leg boundary for 6. That's almost his trademark already, Will Smeed, isn't it?
Absolutely. Smeed on strike again then as Finn comes in over the wicket. This one again looks down the leg side to me, and it is. So he'll have to bowl another couple of deliveries here, Finn, who with a wicket with his first ball and just a couple of singles was looking good, but now some wide deliveries.
Forget how young he is as well, Smeedy, sometimes. I think he's come into the side. We played last year and certainly wasn't overawed. Settled in pretty seamlessly, and yeah, he's sort of making that spot at 3 his own. But yeah, just another great lad sort of to have around. He's brilliant in the dressing room, very popular member of the group, that's for sure.
Picked up by Birmingham Phoenix as well today. Finn in again. This one is just clipped nicely backwards of square, runs towards the boundary. It's not going to get there, and they'll come back for a second here for Smeed.
Yeah, very popular in the group and very popular with the fans already, I suspect. Him and Lewis Goldsworthy coming in at 3 and 4. 2 such young lads, but just is their composure, like Tom said. They don't look flustered. It's a high-pressure game, T20, and you come into it, and it used to be 15, 20 years ago, people say it was actually not a joke, but it was a bit more light-hearted, but it's not like that anymore, certainly. And these 2 guys have come in and coped with pressure remarkably well.
Finn again, and this one just defended by Smeed, and there is no run added there. This is going to be a long over, and we've had those 2 wides.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I've actually been quite taken aback by sort of how they've gone about things in the last season and a half. Just both, playing with a maturity beyond their years. I was watching last night, and I don't think it was easy getting going on that surface, and obviously against a really good Gloucestershire side, and didn't look sort of under pressure at all.
This one is a Yorker. Finn falls over, as he used to do quite a lot in his international career, but he's not dislodged a bail, which was another thing that he also used to do quite a lot, which they then had to change the rules for. But it's a dot ball to end. It's a good over, really, from Finn. Picks up the wicket. A couple of wides, which let him down, but 2 dots to end it. So sort of made up for it, really, there at the end, Sam.
Yeah, he'll be very happy with that start. Won't be happy with a couple of extra balls. Quick bowler never wants to exert themselves more than they have to either. So having to get to bowl 8 deliveries is not ideal, but really good start. But Somerset, 27 for 1, so going at steady 9. So we've talked about it in the last few games here, really. If they can get through the power play, double up from here and not lose another wicket, they'll be in a really, really strong position.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see Helm go again then from this Marcus Trescothick Pavilion end, as it's now known. Conway crouches and just guides that one down to 3rd man. They'll pick up a single.
One thing I love about Devon as well is, he seems to really want to take on that responsibility. We've seen it in a number of the games already. He's not just come here to sort of, try and entertain. He wants to help us win, and he's certainly taken it upon his shoulders to play an important role. And yeah, I think that's such an important trait to have as a player.
Yeah, and his story is just remarkable. I mean, people will start to know it a bit more in the last couple of years, and we'll come back to it in a second as Helm comes in again. Smeed gives himself some room. That was a beautiful drive, but an equally good bit of fielding. I mean, if it goes past, that's going all the way to the boundary, but the man at short cover gets down and makes the stop. Joe Cracknell in there. Yeah, I mean, Devon, he was playing a bit of first-class cricket. There's a 2-tier system in South Africa previously, and he played a lot over there. Had played for a couple of franchises, but not really got a proper go. And it's that move to New Zealand a couple of years ago where he just sold up. Him and his girlfriend moved just not on a whim, but they had nothing. He didn't have a contract or anything. He just went over there and has turned himself into one of the best players in the world over the course of pretty much 2 years. Smeed flicks that one into the leg side. Tried to roll his wrists on it. Steve Finn's on the floor again. He's testing his balance there. He does the fielding at mid-on. And yeah, Conway, I mean...
I was chatting to him the other evening, actually, after the game, and he was just said he felt under sort of huge pressure every time he was going out to bat in South Africa, and almost fell out of love with the game. And yeah, he moved to sort of New Zealand to go and play club cricket over there for 6 months, and you know, his sole intent was to try and find that enjoyment factor again, and obviously it's escalated from there pretty quickly.
It sure has. Oh, that's a good delivery from Tom Helm. We just see his pace there. Conway is going to cross him, coming out, the right-hander coming over the wicket to the left-handed Conway. Really good ball that. Still haven't found a weakness though, really. That's the remarkable thing in Devon Conway's game. Like, where's his weak spot?
He got hit on the head a couple of times, didn't he? In that, or hit in the body as well as the head in that Test innings where he scored 200. But even then, the fact that he went on and kept batting, it just shows it doesn't really faze him, clearly.
And then Conway down the track. It's gone over the top. 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 4.
Class shot.
It is a really classy stroke, as Tom Abel said, is in the back of the box. After that brilliant delivery from Tom Helm previously, a couple of steps down the wicket, inside out, over cover. Lovely to watch that, Charlie Taylor.
It's a Tom Abel shot, isn't it?
Oh, I wish.
It's that talk the other night. What Tom wouldn't have said is he was talking to him about New Zealand and South Africa, but then he taught him that inside out shot.
Yeah.
Certainly got nothing to do with me, that shot.
So the fielder goes out there for that shot then. Bowler points. The captain sends the man out there. So we've got Mujeeb's come up to short third man. Money on him, just rolling it past third man here.
Yeah, a clever cricket, wouldn't it?
Good comeback there from Helm. They just scramble through for the single to end the over. Somerset 34 for 1. Tom Helm not for 16 off a couple.
Yeah, I mean they're not running away with it. Somerset here, just the boundary in that over, just the one of them, and then the 3 singles. So decent rate so far. It's got a couple of overs left in the power play as we do a bit of flat watch. There, look, that's the top. That is the communal bit at the top there. Look, people loving life.
It's a dream, isn't it? That's what I think my dad, it was during lockdown, was desperate to become friends with people in those flats. You just want the invite to come over and get yourself on that top floor. Not quite got the sunshine they sometimes have.
Have you got your name penciled in for one of those, Tom, when your playing days are over?
As soon as I can, yeah. But my dad was actually, I think, eyeing one up for my gran.
Nice.
But it's not come to fruition yet. I think, yeah, my dad just sort of wants a guaranteed seat for the cricket, to be honest.
I was going to say, what a selfless move from Rob Abel that would be.
Right, it's going to be Mujeeb again, second over. It's number 88 to number 88 as they come through for a single, this time played out towards the long-on area.
Are we back on multiples of 11?
Well, they were. There were loads of multiples of 11 in the last one. But here it's just surprising, isn't it? Because what, 88, do we think that's maybe what year of birth it could be, potentially? Because Mujeeb's really young, isn't he? He's born in the 21st century. So what is 88? It seems to be a popular number, clearly, from the overseas signings. It's Mujeeb into Smeed this time, and this one played into the leg side. He's sort of getting down on one knee there, Smeed, to pull it across, and there's just the 1 run added. He moves on to 3 runs. Conway's on 20. The score is 35 for 1. There's our setup. You can see Tom at the back. He's got 3 plates of food next to him. That's all his.
Certainly not all mine.
Got to keep the protein going in that, even when you're injured, as this one goes through. So straight drive from Conway, and they'll come through just for a single.
This is really good stuff from Middlesex here as well, actually. We've got to give them some credit. They had a tough start to the tournament, but they're a fine side and a really fine bowling unit. We'll see Blake Cullen a bit later, and we'll see Nathan Souter. So Somerset have to keep going here. It's going to be really hard work to score runs, even on this hybrid pitch.
2 teams in different pinks tonight, isn't it? As Smeed tries to bring that one. It looked like a big pull shot in the end. It doesn't come off with anywhere near as much venom as it looked like it might have. But I wanted to talk to you, Tom. Maybe at the end of the over you could tell us a bit about this, because on the Behind the Wyvern series, which has been really good, Ollie Sale recording behind-the-scenes footage. But there was a chat after the Surrey game at Surrey, which Somerset won, as this one just played onto the sort of the fine leg region from Conway. It's just the 1 run. There was a chat about fielding after that game, even though Somerset won that game in London. Actually, the chat from Lewis Gregory and from Jason Kerr was about fielding not being good enough. Do you feel like Somerset's fielding has got better since then? as Mujib comes in. This one is a big pull shot and will go over the fielder for 6 runs from Smeed. Great looking shot. Picked that one up better than he did before, and that's 6 added to the score and 50 quid for the charities today.
Yeah, in answer to your question, and I think we'd be lying if we said we've been good enough in the field. I think we've dropped too many chances, we've a few too many missed fields. You know, we set ourselves high standards, but yeah, I still think we've probably fallen short of the mark. As Lewis said, with a few expletives, you know, we're a young, sort of energetic group of lads. You know, there's no excuse really, and I guess it's probably a confidence thing as much as anything. But yeah, we really want to have an identity as a side, and we really want to be really aggressive in the field. And obviously saving every run, taking every catch that we can. So yeah, we're always looking to get better and improve, and you know, in tight games, you know, fielding can be the difference sometimes.
As Finn comes back on from this microscopic billion end, full toss, attempted Yorker, but it's driven beautifully down the ground from Devon Conway, who's moved on to 22 from just 13 balls. Somerset on to 49 to 1. What a lovely shot. We'll just see this one on the replay. No chance for either the man at mid-on or mid-off to stop that. Just a bit too full from Finn.
Nice looking shot. And
I think, you know, fielding, it's an attitude thing a lot of the time. And yeah, we just want to be making sure we're right on it every ball.
As will Steve Finn, but he's got another wide. That's the third one he's bowled. He's bowled a couple in his first over, first up. He's now bowled 1, so he's only bowled 7 legitimate deliveries. That brings up the 50 for Somerset. So just this is the last over of the power play. What's
not a way to bring up a landmark, is it? A wide. That's frustrating, firstly for Finn, but also for, you know, Somerset, they don't get to enjoy a proper run to see it.
Take him anywhere you can get him sometimes.
There we go, the voice of the club captain there.
Pragmatic. Finn again, and just work down to third man from Conway. Mujib's there in short, so they'll just get a single. Either side of him there, and it's 4, but it just found the man.
Do you think Somerset have got better playing under lights, seeing as now pretty much every T20 is under lights now that the lights are here?
I think so. I guess so. It was really interesting, actually. I remember we had a practice session under lights, and it really does make a difference, especially when the ball, you know, high catches. I mean, we just kept dropping them at the start.
Smeed gives himself a little bit of a step back, flicks it, rolls his wrists on it, so just flicks it, but they'll take a single through to mid-on. Does it make a difference home and away, Tom, as well? Because the floodlights here, they're very specific. I think it's every light shines a certain area of the ground. So do you notice good and bad floodlights, or maybe not good and bad, better and slightly less good ones?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're sort of seriously good here, and I don't know, to be honest. Most places, you know, the lights are pretty good. Just watch this.
It's Finn again to Conway.
But yeah, I think obviously it was a new thing here. So just like with anything, took a bit of getting used to. So just trying to make a few excuses for those that I've dropped.
Yeah. And what about the other night, that game at Kent? I mean, I know you weren't playing, but you'd have played potentially all that fog, and everyone's saying on the camp, they're watching the streams, and everyone's going, how are they playing in that? But is it right, actually, when you're down at ground level, it's probably, there's a bit more visibility than it would look on the stream?
Yeah, obviously on TV it looked pretty extreme. But I'd imagine sort of, you know, when you're only sort of 22 yards away, I don't think it would have been too bad. But yeah, it's slightly unusual sort of conditions.
Finn again, leg side. He's claiming the catch. The umpire is unmoved. He hasn't put his arms out for the wide, so he's going to be saying it's come off the 5-pad. Smeed just practices the shot again. Finn looks a little bit bemused, but he's got away with the wide there at least.
It was bizarre. I don't think I've ever seen June conditions. You know, sometimes maybe in September you might see stuff like that, but June, mid-June, in the fog. And Lewis Gregory took a really good high catch in that game as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, to be honest, I thought our fielding was really good in that game. I think it was probably slightly damp. And yeah, obviously high balls are pretty tough, but I thought the boys coped with it really well.
Finn to Smeed again. Bowler does the fielding off his own bowling. Slightly wayward throw, but John Simpson picks that one up. End of the 6 over, end of the power play. Somerset have made 53 for 1, and we're going to have a look at Will Smeed hitting that 6 off Mujib a couple of overs ago. And that's what we were talking about with Smeed, his composure. You know, he hadn't had the best of starts, was only on 5 off 8 balls, but it doesn't fluster him. It wasn't like he danced down the track and he was just waiting for the bad ball and puts it away.
Yeah, I think big thing is he probably trusts in his ability and to clear the ropes. I think he's got a pretty sound understanding of his game for such a young guy, and yeah, teams are allowed to bowl well, but he certainly seemed to sort of ride those periods, and then when the ball's in his area, he's certainly made it count.
It's 53 for 1 then, end of the power play, which is pretty much, Sam, you're going to take a quick look through, but that's pretty much where Somerset have been at all the power plays here. Perhaps maybe 2 down instead of 1, so they'll be fairly pleased, I think. 53 for 1. Club captain Tom Abel, what would you make of that if you were out there, 53 for 1?
Yeah, I'd be pretty happy, to be honest. Of course, you'd always love to be 70, 80 for none, but often you've got to be realistic, and you don't want to lose too many in the power play, that's for sure.
And Conway just playing that one out into the offside, there's no run.
And you've also got to respect when teams bowl well. But in 2020 cricket, things can change so quickly. It can be 1 over here or there. But I think the big thing is trying to get a partnership early, and if we can do that, it'll allow us to play with a lot of freedom and express ourselves towards the back end.
It's Cullen, the bowler, his first over into Conway, who hooks that one round the corner, and they'll take 1 run, and there is moves up to 54 for 1 now.
Yeah, it's been interesting, obviously, through the competition. The first game, we got off to an unbelievable start and then lost our way pretty quickly, sort of at the back end of the power play and through those middle overs. And I think we just got to identify those periods in the game where, you've got to rebuild those partnerships. It's not always as easy going from ball 1 as, some of the England players might make it look.
Cullen's in again. And this is Smead taking a few steps, but it beats the bat. And also for a side that isn't playing together every week, that's being sort of put together because of injuries and England call-ups. Actually, this is a side that keeps changing bit by bit.
It does, and as I alluded to earlier, I think we're probably still trying to find our way a little bit in 2020 cricket, but I guess the fact that we're still in and around the top 4 is testament to the guys. But to be honest, I don't think there's any sort of, shortage in quality. I guess obviously when you lose the likes of Ruller and...
This is a nice pick-up, and it's going to go way over the boundary for 6 runs from Smead, who is having a bit of fun out there now. He moves up to 18, and the score is 60 for 1.
What a shot that is. Yeah, as I was saying, when you lose the likes of Ruller and Hildy, you obviously lose that experience, but, the guys that have come in their places, they've certainly got the quality and the ability to perform. That's for sure.
Yeah, and competition for places is important. And you see the push. This season, because of injury, we've got Tom here, Ruler, Tom Banton's away, Lewis is now injured, Jack Brooks has played a little bit, Steve Davis can't even get a look in, and he's a quality cricketer.
Cullen in over the wicket again, and this one just going to be played towards mid-on. Yeah, it's useful for Somerset as a team that when the wicketkeeper was called out, Tom Banton, to the England squad, that actually their overseas player was able to take that on without having to add in a specialist keeper or someone like Steve Davies, who's a fantastic player, but you don't have to leave someone else out because you need a wicket-keeper to come in. So Devon Conway will take the gloves for tonight's game. And it'll be Cullen in again to that man Conway, who's going to drive straight, and it's a good hand on it from Cullen, and they'll come through for a single. Smead did turn around and try to get back, but actually Conway pulled him through, and they make the single there. Good running.
Yeah, we talk about strength. Middlesex are the same. There's some really exciting young players. They've got, Blake Cullen, who's just bowled, just got his 100 contract. He had 3 for 23 last night, so a career best. We've just seen the pace on him, but they've got a load of guys just a little bit below the first team. I think they made the T20 finals day for the second 11 competition the other week, and 10 of the 11 lads who played for them were in the academy, and then there was Sam Robson as well. So although they've had not the best, so it's a club in a bit of a transitional period. We'll see what happens over the next couple of years. We've got Blake Cullen, Joe Cracknell, Luke Holman, Max Holden as well. So there's some serious talent on display at Middlesex, and then there's lads that aren't even playing, like Walla Walita and Robbie White, even Bamba. So it's good to see academies really bringing players through at such a rate. Going to see Daryl Mitchell, New Zealander to New Zealander then, countryman to countryman. just reaching for that one a little bit, Conway. You could hear it even up here in the commentary box. We can't always hear everything. You could hear the sound of the bat there, and it wasn't as pure as it might have been.
Yeah, no, it was a good ball actually. Really made him reach for it. Probably wouldn't have been given as a wide actually if he'd let it through. So had to do something with it, and Conway getting a single, but also some decent bowling there. I guess Daryl Mitchell will know Conway fairly well, even though Conway's newish to the New Zealand lineups, but.
Yeah, just looking at that field, I wonder if maybe that's a plan to try and go wide and keep it out of his arc, I guess.
Mitchell to Smeed, gone short, pulled by Smeed, but didn't get hold of it again. Deep square leg, comes around and does the fielding. A lot of international experience, Daryl Mitchell. 30 now, played in all 3 formats. Again, a bit like Conway has come into it in the last couple of years, really. Only made his ODI debut earlier this year. Had 100 a couple of games later, so he's taken to international cricket quite nicely as well.
Am I right in saying that the only time Conway's got out is that first game here so far for Somerset?
Mitchell, it's a beautiful shot there from Conway. But on a slower ball, they tried that little bit of width, but Conway waited. You could see the bat just held up in his back lift, and he's crunched that through the covers for 4.
Just a proper cricket shot, isn't it? I think so easy often to try and overhit the ball in 2020 cricket, but it's a pure shot.
Yeah, nice looking shot. You'd be happy with that in a test match, wouldn't you?
He got
I'd
out
just be happy with that any time, to be honest.
No, I'd be happy to do that ever, even in my dreams. See what Mitchell's got now then. Slower ball again. Conway waits patiently. Smeed, so quick. I mean, Jack Brooks said how quick Will Smeed is. He was up level with Conway before he'd even taken a step. So I think he got out in that Essex game, didn't he, Devon?
You're right. Yeah, so there was 2. I was just trying to work out his average. If it was just the once out, he would be way into the hundreds by now. But there is that out as well.
If Devon Conway's not averaging nearly 100, then you've got problems. Mitchell then has a word with his skipper, Steve Finn. Bit of encouragement at mid-on. 3 men out on the leg side, so there's a big gaps there. Outside off, Smeed goes onto the back foot. Man at point's going to do the chasing, cut it off. They'll get a couple again. Smeed is back, keeping John Simpson company at the wicketkeeper's end before Conway's got halfway down. And that's the 50 partnership. 34 balls then. Conway's got 24 of them. Will Smeed's got 22. And just the 23 minutes there. I mean, these things happen quickly in T20, doesn't it? The game can change and it moves on.
Yeah, and these two are good partnership, actually. Conway will play... Well, we've talked about proper cricket shots. Smeed happy to do a bit more like that.
Well, slower ball bouncer. Smeed has not got that precisely where he wanted, but we see it so often in T20. As Tom said a bit earlier, you take the runs how you can get them. It's gone over the wicketkeeper's head. 1 bounce forward, a boundary to finish the over. So Somerset, we've talked a lot about wickets in hand. 8 overs gone. They've just lost the 1. They've got 75 on the board, so a good start.
Yeah, just thought I'd quickly do the maths. I've added them all up. Currently averaging 113 for Somerset, Devon Conway, and that is including this innings. So so far, could add more to that today. We'll see how that goes. That's a pretty good return from your overseas, isn't it? Averaging over 100 in your first few games.
Yeah, we probably would have taken that when we signed Dev. But yeah, I mean that's probably in keeping with his international record, I reckon, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not surprising as such, but it is. When you get an overseas player in, especially a specialist batsman, there's a lot of pressure on them to score, really, to make sure that they represent good value. I guess they want a return contract maybe the next year as well, and they want fans to like them. There is pressure on, but if you're that talented, then that talent will out.
You're spot on, and I think that's probably something that no one can fully appreciate. Obviously, coming in as an overseas, there is that expectation, that pressure, and again, having spoken to him after the first game, he felt that himself. So it's good to know he is human. But yeah, he was desperate to make an impression, and I think, yeah, it's just it's amazing how even the best players in the world, it can affect them. But obviously now he's got a few runs under his belt. I'm sure it would probably have settled him down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the T20 World Cup later this year, and he's definitely one who could make a very big difference for.
He's one of our own now, isn't he?
New Zealand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he is representing Somerset. In the big stage, doubtless he'll be there if assuming he's fit, and it will be Souter. This one played through cover area. That's going to be 4 runs, 4 more runs to Devon Conway. who now moves up to 40, and it looks like Somerset going nicely with Devon at the crease.
I like the intent net. We saw the same with Majid. Both of these guys bowled really good spells last night, really economical, but straight away, boundaries off both of their first balls, so a good show of intent. It'd be easy to go back into their shells, although I'm not sure Devon Conway's going to do that.
Or even just to have a look as this one's swept, and there is a gap, a big gap, and he's found it perfectly. That was a lovely shot, timed nicely. Tom, you're a great sweeper of the ball. Nice to watch a shot like that, textbook sweep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I'm in the same league as Devon, to be honest, but I think it's just a sign of like the player that he is. You know, the best players, they always seem to hit the gaps. But yeah, he's obviously brilliant on the sweep and the reverse sweep as well.
You need to stop doing yourself down, Tom. You're a great T20 player. It's a big shame that you're not out there at the moment, but we're very pleased to have you here in the commentary box.
You can try all night, Charlie. You'll never get Tom Abel to admit that.
He's missed one there, though, Conway. It's good bowling from Sal to just put it a little bit wider, maybe a bit of extra pace on it.
Obviously, you know, different players will have different strengths and weaknesses playing against pace or spin, and I think, yeah, Devon's obviously a fantastic sort of sweeper of the ball, and you know, if you play that shot well, I think it's quite difficult to defend, particularly if you know, play it both sides of the wicket.
Just on his toes there, pushing that one out into the mid-wicket area. Just a single added. Somerset 84 for 1 in the 9th over, which is a nice place to be, especially with those 9 wickets in hand. Even in the shorter game, those wickets just make such a big difference to the mentality. You know, if you're 6 down, you're not going to be throwing away your wicket by trying those big shots, but if you're only 1 down, then you've got a bit more license to. Here's Smead playing this one straight back to the bowler.
Yeah, really excited to watch Sal to bowl today. I do really rate him. He's been qualified to play for England now. Such a good white ball performer.
And again, and this one is pulled by Smead. There is a gap there, and I think that's a great bit of fielding on the boundary. I thought it was going to go. There was an outstretched arm, and in fact, there's been a run out here. Smead coming back to the other end. Sorry, it's Conway, isn't it, who's out here? I took my eye off it to look at the fielding, and it's Conway coming back. They're going to check, are they? They're thinking of the... Well, no, he's not given... no, he's being told to wait. He's being told to wait to make sure he hasn't gone for 4. They got a... Are they going to look at camera angle? They haven't got any cameras to use here. They're going to have a chat about it, maybe speak to the fielder. Middlesex are convinced.
It looks like a few people in the crowd are suggesting it.
Yeah, they are. The crowd is giving the signal for 4 here, but then a partisan crowd definitely would. So
Middlesex aren't interested.
Yeah.
Devon Conway stood there, isn't there? And there's not much the umpires.
Conway's given it. It's been given out. Yeah, he has been given out. So I think maybe they took the eye off it, thinking it had gone for 4. I certainly had.
Have they stopped running?
And coming back to it, we need to check this because Conway, the ball came in. There was an incident like this. You might remember in a test match between India and England. Ian Bell was run out thinking that the lunch had been called because it had gone for 4. In fact, it hadn't gone for 4. He was called back after the lunch break. MS Dhoni, the captain, brought him back. But no, it's not going to happen this time. Conway is out in unusual circumstances here. He's gone for 45. Ball which looked like it was going to go for 4. Didn't. Well kept in by the field. And throw in, perhaps, surprising the runners there. Conway out, run out on 45.
Well, it could be a key moment in the game, that, for both sides, for Somerset and Middlesex. And as Tom was saying earlier, the importance of fielding. Brilliant bit of fielding. One-handed, diving, full stretch, has clawed it back. So they've just shown the replay on the screen there. There's a few boos ringing out from the crowd. As you said, a partisan crowd largely, but they made their feelings very clear. But we move on. Devon Conway's gone. Will Smead's 23 not out off 20 balls. Lewis Goldsworthy's the new batter in the middle. End of the over, so he'll be at the non-strikers end. And we're going to see Blake Cullen return here in place of Daryl Mitchell. Starts with a short one, pulled away by Smead into the gap. There's a man out at deep square leg, a man at deep fine leg, but it's dissected them perfectly. Will Smead has given Somerset just what they needed, really, after that wicket.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? You can't let something like that affect you for a few overs because it's such a short game that you need to crack on with it straight away. And Smead there making use of what was a nicely positioned short ball for him, straight in front of him, pulled it round the corner, and straight away with runs after what was a difficult moment in the over before.
Short ball again from Cullen. Smead has pulled that fielder was looking at it, but longingly it sailed over his head, not quite out the ground, I don't think, because it just plummeted into the black cloth in front of the stand there. But beautiful that from Will Smead, a wicket, but 10 off those next 2 balls. I mean, he just didn't even hit that, really, did he?
No, he's certainly not looking to sort of tone down the scoring now that he's got a new partner, is he? He's making the most of being out there. And Goldsworthy, why should he? Goldsworthy's been great so far this season, breaking through into the Somerset first 11 in red and white ball.
Short again, but Will Smead has found the fielder this time, so he's had last 2 balls have gone for 10. Cullen, another short ball, and it's pulled straight down the throat of the man at deep mid-wicket. Somerset have lost 2 wickets in the space of 4 balls, and a 95 for 3 now.
And now they've got 2 batsmen who haven't faced the ball. So although Smead, they're trying to up the run rate, getting it going, and Somerset in a good spot runs-wise now with those 3 wickets down. Might just have to take a bit of a rain check on that as these 2 batsmen will get in. Right call from Smead, do you reckon there, Tom? Just to carry on, keep scoring as he was before, even with a new partner at the other end?
Yeah, look, I mean, those sort of periods in games are key, I think, after you lose a wicket, but you've got to sort of play on instinct, play with what's in front of you, and obviously he's played a couple of brilliant pull shots there and obviously not quite executed that shot, but in terms of like your intent, I think, you know, he's right. It's just obviously a shame he didn't quite execute. But yeah, I mean, obviously having lost that wicket to the run out is nice, obviously, to get a couple of boundaries just after, because it just, you know, wrestles that momentum back pretty quickly. Yeah, another sort of key period in the game, I think, coming up. Whoever manages this next sort of couple of overs, I think, will play a big part in the game.
Cullen then to Goldsworthy. So he's the newish batter. Goldsworthy's been out there a couple of balls, but he's been at the non-strikers end, but they crossed. So Tom Lammonby's in at the other end. He's just going through his shots. Back in the side today, Tom Lammonby, and we all know how talented a player he has. Had a difficult start to the season, but he'll be keen to impress today, Tom.
100%, yeah. And look, Lammon's obviously had a tricky period at the start of the summer, but, you know, we're also aware of his ability and his class. You know, you don't lose that overnight, and we're all, you know, very sure that he'll sort of come good in the very near future. But I completely understand where he has been. You know, I've been there sort of myself, and it's a.
Here's the run out incident. We're going to take a look at this now, as our cameras did pick up. So this is the ball which went towards the boundary. Now, do we think this? Oh, I think it looks okay. I can't see the boundary rope move there.
Yeah, it's very difficult to say from here. So we've had a wide ball, and then Cullen's come back in. A dot ball. Yeah, the previous ball, Goldsworthy just gave himself some room, but actually Cullen tried to follow him very cleverly, came inside it, and it was a wide. Cullen follows up with a dot, so there's still 1 ball left in this over. We're very close to the halfway stage in the innings, so runs-wise, Somerset will be quite happy with this.
And there is a point to be said as well for the running, is that you play to what you see. You don't expect something to go for 4 until you're absolutely, definitely sure that they should be not taking those risks until they know, as this one's just played out into the leg side.
Yeah, end of the over. And, you know, from a fielder's perspective, he doesn't necessarily know, actually. He's diving full stretch in the action. He doesn't know if part of his body or part of his shirt has touched the boundary rope. I mean, it looked like a great bit of fielding from up here.
Yeah, Tom, you're going to be the person to ask about this. Someone who sweeps the boundaries quite often in these T20 games. How much do you know about it when you're sliding around out there, whether you're maybe just touching a bit of the edge of the rope or something?
Yeah, I think it's a skill in itself. Sometimes you probably don't know definitely for definite. Things can happen very quickly, and you're always sort of trying to keep one eye on sort of where the boundary rope is. But yeah, it's not always easy to tell.
Yeah, well, as we said, that could be a key moment. We saw some hampers there on screen. Tickets have sold out for the Gloucestershire game, but you can still get yourself a hamper if you're there. Just book under hospitality. So if you fancy one of those filled with great food and treats, then that's how you do it. Souter's back into the attack. This one is a full toss and just played through it there by Goldsworthy.
Yeah, just to continue on Lammonts, I think he's just trying to work things out again for himself. He obviously had a brilliant summer last year for us, and look, when you're not quite scoring as many runs as you want to, you just go searching a little bit and you almost try too hard. But yeah, hopefully he gets, can take a few balls to get himself in. I'm sure things will come flooding back pretty quickly, because as I say, we all know how good a player he is.
Yeah, well, all those hundreds last year. As you say, that doesn't just disappear, does it? Souters in to Lammonby. This time he plays it back to him. No run there.
Obviously in 2020, you know, you certainly feel the pressure from ball one. You face a couple of dots and, you know, everything seems twice as hard. So hopefully you can get off to a good start here.
Yeah, no real time to let yourself get in. So this one just tickled into the leg side, pretty square, and there is just the one run.
The one thing I would also say is a lot of people say they work hard, but, you know, Lammers, I've not seen anything like him, to be honest. He trains so hard, he puts himself under such pressure, obviously because he's so desperate to perform, so you can't sort of knock him from that point of view. And as I say, sometimes it just takes a bit of luck or a drop catch to get you going again.
And this is Goldsworthy over the fielder who's at short cover, and that will go over the boundary rope for 4 nice runs, bringing up the 100 as he does it. 103 for 3, and that is a proper cricket shot from Lewis Goldsworthy.
I think that's so important at the moment. Obviously, having just lost a couple of wickets, obviously you want to try and minimise dot balls, and then, you know, if you can pick up the odd boundary here and there, you know, just to keep the rate up around 10s, I think that's so crucial.
See what he can do this time onto the leg side from Goldsworthy. They'll run. These two must be one of the quickest pairs between the wicket, I should think. They're both young, both fit.
Yeah, great athletes. Very quick between the wickets, and that's another way of obviously putting pressure on the opposition, particularly after you've lost a couple of wickets, you know, slightly lower risk options, but pushing those twos.
Souter into Lammonby, and again, just happy to take the single from this one, and he picks up another one, and that is the end of another over. 105 for 3 after 11 overs. Somerset in a good position here, despite those quick wickets. Let's take another look at that run out. So just as we look slow-mo on the boundary, did he touch the rope? Oh, it is. Let's have a look, see if we can rock and roll it, guys. See if we can see the rope move. It's. Oh, I mean, he is. Oh, you can see how close he is, but just rolling at the end of the move there. He's the other side of the rope. He is right on it. Hard to tell though exactly what happened. It'd be good to see what was going on with the running as well.
Very hard to tell. Yeah, but looked all right from here. And in any event, it's gone now. David Conway's gone. Somerset have got a job to do. We've got 9 overs to go.
Sorry to interrupt, Sam. Would a third umpire have had any reason to overturn that decision? I don't think so.
As Finn continues and Lammonby flicks it into leg side. No, based on what we've seen on those camera angles, there was nothing conclusive there to say that he had touched around the boundary. And as we were talking about, we've got Goldsworthy and Lammonby, and they've got a little bit of time. Things happen so quickly, but it is important. A couple of overs of just ticking it over. They'll run quickly. There's big gaps on the leg side. The field is spread there, so if you push it in there, you can pick up a couple and hit the bad ball. And if with 5 overs to go, they're only 3 down, then they've got a really good platform as Finn continues to Goldsworthy. Does him for pace there a little bit. Goldsworthy looked to perhaps go over point area, replays the shot there.
Yeah, I think you're right. How we sort of negotiate the next 2 or 3 overs probably will affect how we, you know, when we can sort of press the button. And, you know, batting's completely different when you're sort of not under pressure from a wickets point of view, you know, and you've got guys, good batters in the hutch, you know, with hopefully only 3 or 4 overs to go. It means you can score pretty freely.
Finn tries to flick it leg side, Goldsworthy. A direct hit as well, so they're going to scramble through for a single. So Goldsworthy tried to flick that onto the leg side, got a leading edge, pointed really well. He's taken, we'll see, middle stump. The stumps aren't very into the ground very hard. We've seen a few of them flying miles tonight. A great bit of fielding, but unfortunately from a Middlesex perspective, Somerset have stolen a single there. Bowler never too pleased when there's overthrows off their bowling. But yeah, really important. Couple of overs, still big hitters. Eddie Byram, Ben Green, Craig Overton. I know Charlie Taylor's going to smile when I say Marchand Delange.
Yes.
Still to come. There's a lot of love for Marchand in this room.
Get him on.
Yeah, he's a big favourite, Marchand.
Finn does well.
Unbelievable character. Just a great guy, proper 100% man, and he's been a phenomenal addition, I think, to the squad, and you know we're certainly seeing the best of him at the moment.
Yeah, his bowling in the last game when we watched here, Hampshire, was just considering there weren't many runs to play with. You bring on your big fast bowler, you know that could go wrong. You could go for 40 off 4 or even more, but actually was brilliant. 13 runs, I think it was, 0 for 13 from 4, just brilliant.
Lammonby crouches. This is really good stuff from Steve Finn. Really, really good over so far from him. 5 balls gone, just 2 from it. Beaten the outside edge a couple of times. Yes, those Yorkers, Marchant, there's so little margin for error, particularly at his pace. You only need to get a little dabble on it and it's a boundary, but he's been so brilliant. And again, took a little bit, like a couple of weeks to get going. A new club, maybe trying to over-impress, but I mean, he has been impressive the last couple of weeks, hasn't he?
He has been enough. He probably sort of forget a little bit that he's, slightly nervous again, wants to sort of make an impression, and that can affect you sometimes. But he's been brilliant, right throughout this season. But he's certainly sort of hitting his straps. He's bowling with really good pace, and I think he's very clear in his plans, and his execution has been brilliant.
Yeah, Somerset take a single there to end the over. Lammonby pushed it out towards mid-on. So what have we got? 8 overs to go. Don't forget streaming style. We've got prizes again for courtesy of It's Trade Nation. You can win the cash prizes and the T20 shirt as modelled by Charlie Taylor. So we look forward to seeing where everyone's been watching it. Again, I'll have to give the disclaimer because of COVID. You don't get Charlie Taylor's shirt. You do get one much like
as wanted as it would be. We have to turn down the fans who are waiting out the back who want this shirt.
Pull it off better than most, to be fair, Charlie.
The only reason Tom
most of the players, anyway.
Not true. It will be Sauter again, so he's got a proper spell here. It's a chance to sweep it. It's top edge. I thought it would have to be a top edge to do that, and the umpire took a while to think about it, but it is going to be the end of Lammonby there, who goes for 4 runs, and what's been a difficult season for him continues here. Brought in at the very last minute though to replace captain Lewis Gregory, who's tweaked his knee in a warm-up. So that is the end of Tom Lammonby. 8 or just under 8 overs to go. And this will be Ben Green, I should think, coming in to replace Lammonby. Green, who's had some good innings already with the bat this year in T20s. Did well in those first 2 defeats, actually. Was unlucky not to keep his place in those teams, those squads. But he's got another chance here with the bat. 108 for 4. And Lammonby will be a bit disappointed with that. A bit of a tame dismissal. And heads back to the pavilion.
Yeah, Greener played really well in those first few games, didn't he? Sort of identified the situation and got us up to a respectable score. So yeah, hopefully he can sort of more of the same from him tonight would be great.
Coming in at this stage as well, you've 4 wickets down with just under 8 overs to go. Okay, you don't want to give it away, but actually he's got a bit of a licence here to play some big shots. As Somerset head towards the end of their innings, he might want to just give himself a bit of time to get in. Let's find out. Quite often we've seen players just come in, smash it first ball. What's Ben Green going to do? He'll be facing Sauter here, and that's a good looking forward drive from Green. He'll just pick up the single from it though.
Yeah, good stuff from Middlesex perspective here. Good catch from John Simpson. Looked really easy, but actually it was spinning and under the helmet as well. I don't know about you. You get kind of you can't. Your line of sight, your vision is slightly impaired. So did well to take the catch. Relatively comfortable in the end. It looks really easy, and naturally a man of his calibre behind the stumps is always, 99 times out of 100, going to take that catch. We've got to give him a bit of credit.
This one is Goldsworthy cutting that way, giving himself some room in front of the stumps, but in the end can't get it past the fielder who's at cover, Stephen Finn, and there's no run added. 109 for 4. We do that, you try and double it at 12 overs. Doesn't always work really, actually. So, but if you do that, I'm set on target for 200, but that might be a bit too much here, as another one missed by Goldsworthy. And there's no run added there. You're listening to the Charlie Taylor and Sam Darling with Tom Abel, club captain, behind us here on the live stream as Goldsworthy comes forwards, a couple of steps and just plays that out into the long off area. Just a single added on to the score there. What are you looking at here if you were captain? I know you have done a bit of T20 captaincy in your time, but from here, what would you be hoping for from your side?
So obviously 7 overs left. It's up around the 180 mark would be a good score, I think, or competitive at least. But yeah, again, we probably sort of need to try and establish a partnership. It's difficult to go from ball 1, particularly when they're sort of bowling well and they've got you under a little bit of pressure. So yeah, I mean Taunton can be very quick scoring as well, and you might identify a bowler which potentially you might look to attack. But yeah, with 7 overs to go, I guess if you can get 10s, which take you to 180, I think that would be sort of competitive. But Yeah, ideally you'd like probably in excess of 180, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, really good stuff from Middlesex in these last, since that Will Smead wicket, Somerset have lost a couple of wickets, 3 wickets for just 9 runs in 3.4 overs, so a really good middle period for Middlesex as Blake Cullen continues work down to third man by Goldsworthy for a single. Brilliant to have you all with us watching in whichever way you are. I've got to give a shout out to the people on the YouTube. There's regulars on the YouTube channel and they're very good. They're kind of the moderators of the forum. They're brilliant. They're with us they do not miss a game, do not miss a ball. It's fantastic to have them as it is to have everyone.
It's interesting, Goldsworthy really knows his role here, doesn't he, in the T20 side? You see it when he's playing.
Short there from Cullen, but it's going to get at least 4. Yeah, 1 bounce for Green. Gone over the keeper again. It's the second such boundary we've seen this innings from Somerset, but you take them every which way they come.
Sort of plays that holding role, doesn't he, really? He's happy to give strike away to whoever he's with, and it works really well to having that anchor in an innings.
Yeah, very versatile cricketer, very skillful. Again, I think he identifies and adapts to situation better than most, to be honest. You know, he's certainly got the ability to get those 1s and 2s, but then I think he's shown in a number of games this season and last night, he can find the boundary when we need him to. So yeah, he's been phenomenal. Again, very wise head on such young shoulders, but very skillful player, both with the bat and the ball.
Was pushed out.
Might get 2
into the onside. Yeah, they might get 2. They'll look for 2. Probably a very good decision not to go. Max Holden is quick out there. He came through and did the fielding. Yeah, and it's a hallmark of Somerset players coming through, isn't it? And that's great credit to people like Jason Kerr, Andy Hurry, Greg Hennis as well. He's been with the twos for a long time now. You just every time you you speak to a lot of these guys on your radio show, Charlie. It's just such impressive characters. Cullen again, Goldsworthy works that down to third man. They'll just get the single.
Yeah, again, happy with the single there, Goldsworthy. Green, as I've said, as he came in with a bit of a licence to hit, can hit a very long ball. Green's well built. I guess he spends a bit of time practicing that. I guess you all do you, Tom? The 6 hitting, slogging.
Yeah.
Range hitting these
some
days.
Probably more successful than others, but yeah, the winter's obviously a period where you really get to sort of focus on certain skills. We'll probably obviously try and. Well, to be honest, I think we're obviously looking. We've got aspirations in all 3 competitions, but we've probably fallen short in our white ball cricket. So this winter was, a good opportunity for us to try and develop our white ball games. But of course, we didn't neglect our red ball batting either.
Down the wicket from Goldsworthy. He's gone up. Finn is backpedaling. He's going to take the catch. A big man, Steve Finn. He had a look for a second, but got himself well placed. Goldsworthy tried to go up and over. Couldn't quite get hold of it. He's got to go for 11. Somerset 118 for 4. End of the 14th over.
Yeah, a bit disappointing that from Goldsworthy. We talked about his role as a holding player. He's tried to break out of those shackles a bit, but not timing it at all. They're getting a bit of a top edge, really, and getting out. And that's the problem if you're playing that holding role and you get out like that, suddenly your innings doesn't look quite so good as just the 11 runs from him, despite being there for a while, so less than a run a ball.
Yeah, and it just showed, it's difficult, maybe a more difficult pitch to score runs on quickly in the middle order. A lot of runs coming early, and Devon Conway, fantastic, and Will Smead in the power play. But actually, in the middle of the innings, with Souter on and with Cullen on, Somerset have found runs much more difficult to come by.
They've obviously looked to sort of try and hit quite heavy length, back of a length. They've Cullen there, he's bowled with mid on and mid off up, so you think he's predominantly going to go into the wicket, bowl pretty short. But yeah, I guess everyone sort of feels the pressure in sort of 2020, particularly when you come into sort of towards the last 5 or 6 overs. You want to be scoring those boundaries, and yeah, I think he's executed his plan pretty well there.
Yeah. Souter then is going to be coming from the river end. 118 for 5, 6 overs to go as Souter's in, and Byram's playing this back to him. Another guy, Byram, who's in and out of this team just because of the injuries and the way that it's working. So Byram will be keen to make more of this, as it's Mujib, who's bowling, and this one He's just turned round into the leg side by Byram. There's just the 1 run added. So they've taken Souter off. I looked to see who it was spin, but didn't look to see who it was. So it's Souter taken off after 3 overs. So he'll have 1 to spare. Wonder if they'll think about using that towards the death, perhaps. Because he bowled pretty well, Souter, but Mujib back on for his 3rd. It's 119 for 5 now. And it's Green on strike, and this one just played straight out to the man just behind point, and there's a dive at the end. In fact, Mujib didn't take the ball cleanly, so it was all fine, but Ben Green knew something was going to happen. It's a risky single, isn't it? We're playing it straight to the man. Just backwards of point there. Not really a third
I would also
man.
say you probably don't want to sort of get too far ahead of yourself.
And the stumping there as Byram came out to play it, missed it, and Simpson was quick to take the bails off. And that is the end of Eddie Byram, who managed just the 1 run to his name. So Somerset losing wickets quickly here with still over 5 overs to go.
Slightly quicker ball there from Mujib. Did he see him coming? Well, no, maybe not.
No.
Just did him, just turned him.
Slightly googly. Yeah, obviously, when you sort of got a figure and maybe sort of around the 180 mark in your head, you know, often you can sort of get a little bit sidetracked and you know, get bowled out for significantly less. So I think it's important, again, you know, we've got to try and establish a little partnership.
Yeah, well, these two can certainly back, can't they? Green and Overton together. They can sort of hang around for a little bit, make sure that they're going to be there for all 20 overs, and then if they want to open up, they can.
The last game, you know, sort of 160 proved to be a winning score, so we've obviously sort of got to try and wrestle back a bit of momentum at the back end of our innings. Yeah, and try and sort of get a competitive score on the board.
Well, it's going to be Craig Overton straight on strike here after the stumping, and he comes forwards. Hit on the pad, given out first ball. LBW. Oh, he came forwards a long way there, Overton. You think big step in from the big man, but he has to go back straight away. Another wicket down.
Craig didn't like it very much, but the bowler was convinced, wasn't it? The appeal. Well, it looks, I mean, on the replay, it looks mighty close, doesn't it? The bowler was absolutely convinced. 2 in 2 balls.
Yeah, great end to that over from Mujib. He's still got another 1 to go. He could get a hat-trick here. It's on, as it'll be Marchant de Lange, but a real procession of Somerset batsmen coming and going now. This is risky business now. 120 is not going to be enough.
Well, and we've talked about Somerset signing well. We talked about the importance of overseas players in this competition and in every competition. Devon Conway's won for Somerset, but Mujib has been brilliant for Middlesex. They've had him over before, a couple of years back. He came over and had a really good spell, so they know his character. They've brought him over again. They had Chris Green beforehand, who did a really good job. So overseas players really coming to the fore.
Yeah. It's gone from 95 for 2 to 120 for 7 now. So 5 wickets and just 25 runs. We've got a ball left in this over, and it'll be de Lange to try and avoid giving Mujib a well-earned hat-trick. Certainly 2 very good balls so far. Let's see what he can do here. They are playing with the field around here. Must be tough coming out on a hat-trick ball. You know that the fielding team are well up for it, desperately want to get this hat-trick for their bowler.
Important for Somerset here to survive this hat-trick ball, but to bat all the 20 overs as well. And you've got 3 wickets left, and actually the last thing you want to do in a T20 game is run out of deliveries. Don't leave deliveries out there. So that's really key.
We're going for the stumps here, I think.
Yeah, put a
leg slip in.
Leg slip in. Yeah, a leg slip. Tom Abel's going to talk us through this because he is a hat-trick taking bowler, of course.
Slightly different.
Mujib is in. This one does take a bit of an edge there, but in the end they turn down the run rightly, and Lange survives. So no hat-trick, but 2 wickets and just the 2 runs from the over. Very good stuff from Mujib. And there we go. We've got a bit of trivia going on. We'll see if Tom knows the answer. Who has the most T20 50s for Somerset? So we've got a few names who are going to be up and around there. Tom, any ideas?
I mean, I'd have to hazard a guess. I think he's scored that many runs, but I'd probably guess Hildy, but I couldn't tell you for definite.
Well, Hildy's got 200 games, so that's you don't need to have a huge percentage of those games going for 50s probably to get a lot of them. I was thinking along the lines maybe Trez could have quite a few, couldn't he?
Yeah, the great man. I mean, he's certainly got the quickest in the competition history, hasn't he? Just the 13 balls as Helm's going to come back. 13 balls is quite ridiculous. Green flicks that into the leg side. They'll look for 2. Max Holden scrambles around and cuts them off. And this is wonderful stuff from Middlesex, really bowling beautifully. So yeah, if you want to join in, we've thrown Hildy out there, we've thrown Marcus Druskovic.
Yeah, maybe I like your the top of the order openers. I'm thinking maybe Keyswetter might be up there. I know
Good shout. Good shout. Get your answers in on the YouTube chat. Let's see what you've got. We're just having a look. Maybe we've seen Marcus having his dinner the last couple of games. Although we missed him last game, I expect we're just having a quick look. Poor man hasn't been able to have any peace. Just sits down there enjoying his fish and chips, or sausage and chips as it must be. DeLanger flicks it into the leg side. It's gone up-ish. They're just going to get the single, I think, there, yeah. Just the one. So, yeah, get your answers into that YouTube channel. Brilliant spell.
Trigo. Oh, Trigo. There is a good shout as well. Played a lot of T20s for Somerset.
There was a season or two where Craig Keyswetter just seemed to score 50 every time he batted. In that kind of, I want to say the glory years. It wasn't quite the almost glory years of 9, 10, 11. Yep. He certainly scored a lot there. Flicked into the leg side again from Green. Just boundaries really hard to come by for Somerset. So we had that 6 and 4 from Smead off Cullen. That was the first 2 balls of the 10th over. What are we now? We're halfway through the 16th. We've just had a couple of boundaries, 2 4s. One of them, though, was that 4 that went over the wicketkeeper's head. It's superb stuff from Middlesex.
Yeah, Somerset with those wickets down, just 3 in hand now. Can't afford to just gift them to Middlesex. Myberg we've had. Just make sure you get your guesses in on the YouTube chat. Myberg's a good shout as well. Opener, scored a lot of runs there.
Slower ball does for DeLanger. Hasn't hit the stump, so he's still there, but it was out the back of the hand. You could see it. DeLanger was waiting, but still went too early. Rehearses the shot again. They go and have a chat to each other. Yeah, Myberg, what a cricketer Johan Myberg was. Kind of an unheralded signing. But he's got a T20 100 for Somerset, I think, Johan Myberg, hasn't he?
I think it was against Essex, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was. I certainly saw it here. I can't remember. I think it was Essex. Tom confirming. Yeah, that was one of his last games, was it? It wasn't quite his last game, was it? It was late on.
I think it might have been his last home game.
Yeah, it was certainly a goodbye to him, I remember.
Nicest guy on the planet as well, Mibes.
No run there.
That is saying something. So 1 ball left in the over. 123 for 7. Yeah, did they? Because he went to go and teach, didn't he? So I think they maybe convinced him to do 1 more year on just a summer white ball contract. But yeah, fine servant.
Yeah, he was. Just think he was fairly short as well, wasn't he? And Goldsworthy also is. Every time I see him mentioned in national papers, they always say diminutive or short or small. Players get noticed, don't they, for their heights? Because at the moment, DeLanger is waiting. He's not someone who would ever get described as that, as he plays that around the corner for a single. And that is, I wondered, yeah, leg bite going to be added, so it just came off the pad.
It's kind of changed. It used to be pint-sized. The pint-sized left-hander, Justin Langham was always that. There's one guy up at Taunton Cricket Club called Hugh Kelly, who was always the pint-sized right-hander.
Corey Anderson comes up as I mentioned. Didn't think he would have played enough games, probably.
It's a brave shout, that. Yeah, fine cricketer.
He would have done. If we're going down overseas, I wonder if you go down an overseas route, who'd have done that.
Well, Cameron White is probably the only. No, maybe he's not. He's certainly got the highest, other than Gale. He's got 2 T20 that one in the Gloucester game, and I think he got 130, maybe 140 in the same season, and Somerset lost the game. Imagine that, 130 odd not out in a T20 and you lose the game.
Same as that Chris Gale one against Kent, 151 not out. And this one is played through towards the mid-wicket area. It goes all the way, I think. Yes, it does. Another £50 for Chance to Shine, and to the CF Trust as well, who will be benefiting from all the 6s today. And that's DeLanger taking on the spinner. Nice. Through the line, but 6 runs added to the score.
Yeah, he plants that front foot very early, doesn't he? We've seen him a few times. He doesn't quite sweep in the same way that everyone. He doesn't get all the way down. It is a long way down from where he is.
Let's see what he does this time. And he's going to try a similar thing. That is huge. That has gone well up, and it is going to have the legs just to clear the boundary in the end. the height there that he went for. I mean, when Delanger decides he's going to play the shot, there's no. Well, you said he's a 100% man, Tom, is how you described him.
In
so
everything he does, yeah. I mean, he does hit the cleanest ball probably that I've ever seen, to be honest. You know, when he gets it, it goes absolutely miles. So could do with a few more of these, I think. You know, just.
Well, the scoring had just stopped almost, hadn't it, from the 120 mark. So now up to 136 for 7, with 22 balls to go.
Bit of a Delanger cameo would be nice here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be very nice. Don't forget trade in, trade outs coming up as well at the interval with Sam. And
I feel like he might be trying to take this over down.
Tom doing a bit of a spin on the wheel. Let's see what happens as Delanger again playing that forwards. That's just going to be a dot ball that time. Yeah, so do you think maybe he's targeted, deliberately saying, well, this is going to be our last over facing Mujib, so let's see if we can target him, which would make sense, as the death bowlers will be brought on soon. In comes Mujib again. This one going to be played on towards long on, and they'll come through just for a single that time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they go to. Helm, Finn and Cullen all have got 1 over left. South has got another one still up his sleeve and has bowled really well, so it'll be interesting to see who Steve Finn goes to.
Ben Green waits this time as Mujib is in, and this one will be a single, played out towards the fielder at mid-on, who comes around, and there is just the one added. So Green moves on to 11. Delanger's there on 14. It'll be Delanger on strike this time. It's a fuller ball, goes down the leg side, and it's going to be wides here. 5 of them down the leg side. Keeper wasn't ready for it, and 5 bonus runs for Somerset, so they won't mind that.
Yeah, really good over from a Somerset perspective. 19 off it. Commentator's curse. Just talked about how well Middlesex's overseas has done. Next over goes for 19 with a ball left.
And that's pressure, isn't it? It's pressure building because he's seeing Delanger there, knows that he's probably going to shape up for a big shot. Here he is again. And Delanger does get hold of it, and it's going to go way over the fielder. I thought maybe he was shaping up to catch it, but it's gone into the river. What a shot that is from Delanger.
Wow, and that's our first. I mean, it doesn't even need commentator's call. It's our first out of the ground tonight. So not only have Somerset got 6 runs, but it's £150 for charity, thanks to its Trade Nation.
It's sailed into the river.
Yeah,
It's just gone straight through the gap between the Lordy and Botham stand and the river stand. Nicely picked. It nearly pinged the floodlight, and the speed that ball was going might have left a dent in the
it's a decent nudge, that.
Two young lads down there playing cricket really enjoyed that. They're like brothers.
It's the pickup there, isn't it? He's outside off, and he's just sort of brought it, you know, a ball which normally you'd look to play out maybe into the offside. No, not Delanger. Let's just swing through it, bring it out over Long On's head for 6 huge runs. 149 for 7 here, and this is a nice little rebuild with 3 overs to go.
Yeah, all that pressure, and suddenly it's been relieved with the 25 off the over, and Somerset are in a decent enough position. You go from 10s from here, takes you to 179 as Cullen's going to finish off. Goes short, goes up. Green hasn't got hold of that. It's gone a long way up. There's a fielder underneath it. Going to take the catch. Ben Green's innings comes to an end. They did cross, so March and Delanger will be on strike. It was just that bit of extra pace there from Cullen. Max Holden steadied himself and came round and took the catch. Somerset are 8 down.
Yeah, that's disappointing for Green, top edging it, and that brings out Jack Brooks now. So with Brooks and Waller, the last 2 waiting to come out, then you feel like that is now, they've got to get off strike, got to get Delanger on strike, whereas with Green in there, you fancy.
Yeah, it's obviously a lot of time to go. I mean, what, 2 overs and 5 balls, you know, that's, you've got to maximise that, I think. And like you say, if we can have another over like the previous over, you know, we'll get a decent score. We don't want to get bowled out with a couple of overs to go.
Yeah, 17 balls left, but even if you take a run of ball, that takes you to a decent score. You'd hope you'd pick up a couple of boundaries. What we're not going to probably see now is those quick 2s with these 2 at the crease, with the greatest of respects. It helps Middlesex a little bit in that perspective, but Delanger's going to be on strike for that bat, looking like a child's bat in his hand, really. Short, he's gone for the same shot. Are we going to get the same result? Holden's having to work a little bit harder. He's underneath it and he's gone. Holden steadied himself, did really well there. Took the catch. Going backwards, and March and Delanger's gone. Somerset losing wickets in clusters again. 2 in 2 balls. That promising cameo from March and Delanger comes to an end. Somerset 9 down, 1 short of 150. Not ideal, Charlie Taylor.
Not ideal at all, and what's the shame here is that there is all that time left to go. It's the second time this week that we've seen Brooks and Waller batting together, two who probably hope they don't have to bat. Although I guess Jack Brooks probably fancies himself with the bat a little bit. But, you know, they're two players who, when you come on, they're specialist bowlers, they don't expect to have to bat in a T20. Disappointing. You see why DeLang is doing it, just to try and get that rate going, but he's gone towards the longer boundary. Hasn't got hold of it really, not all of it. It's gone a long way up, but good catch. And Somerset now have got to try and limp their way towards the 20 overs without getting bowled out, and hopefully adding maybe 15, 20 runs if they can somehow. Would be really bonus runs. Let's see how they get on.
Yeah, it's about intelligent cricket from here on. Two experienced batters at the crease. It's Brooks.
Hat-trick ball.
Second hat-trick ball is a short one, probably not unexpected. Brooks has got his arm guard on, knowing that Cullen's going to dig that one in. He's flicked it slightly awkwardly, I think it's fair to say. It's fallen safe. They've taken a run. Hat-trick ball survived. Waller's going to take his guard. These two both played a lot of cricket, been around a long time. We don't often see Max Waller bat, as you said. Only just crept past 100 runs in his career the other night, but Somerset have got to bat the overs out here.
I love the green on the side of Brooks's gloves. Just does not go with any other bit of the kit.
Flicked into the leg side from Max Waller. That's good cricket. You know what you're going to get here. 5 balls out of 6 going to be back of a length. You can only have those couple of bouncers, or you've got the one for the over, but it's going to be short of a length. So there's lots of gaps. There's 3 men out. These two don't need to be taking on that hook shot, not in this position here. It's like a Peter Trago pair of gloves, isn't it? It's kind of gloves we used to see him wear.
Yeah.
Big role to play here, I think, these two.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you can get to 160, 170, you know, the impact that will have, like when you go out to field, will be pretty big.
Brooks shapes to go down the track, and then it's a nice looking shot to Steve Finn. So these two, Max Waller and Jack Brooks, are going to have a big role to play in about 20, 25 minutes time with the ball. But they're also going to have to do well with the bat here. And Brooks has got a first-class 100 in his career, as he makes. He's not shy about telling people. Max Waller's got a double 100 for the twos a long time ago now, so not mugs with the bat.
Yeah, double 100 takes some getting, doesn't it? Whatever form, really.
Oh, I don't have one. Short again, well bowled actually that.
Yeah,
Blake Cullen.
ball.
Just saw Waller stepping. Waller was trying to turn a slightly shorter ball into a length ball and took a step down the wicket. End of the over, 152 for 9.
I mean, Waller there coming toward, taking a step towards it. It's good, positive batting, but with just the one in hand, wicket in hand, you just want really to see a single per ball if they can get 6 and over. Another 12 runs, Tom, from these two would be useful at least, wouldn't it? Get Somerset up towards 164. That would be.
Yeah, absolutely. If we can get sort of north of 160, it'll give ourselves something to bowl at. But yeah, it's obviously been a pretty disappointing, frustrating back end to the innings, because I think at the halfway mark, I think we're set pretty well. We've not quite capitalised on that.
Well, when you look back, that run out of Conway is we said it could be a key moment. Well, it really did spark a collapse.
So 85 for 2 was that?
Yeah, it was 85 for 2. Yeah, Somerset now find themselves 152 for 9. But certainly not a lost cause. This is a defendable score. Middlesex not having a great season. It'll be Finn. And he's bowled. Brooks trying something too clever, I think. That is the end of Somerset's innings. And there is still 11 balls left begging. And it's not Brooks' fault. He's trying to do something there with the pace of Finn. Could have worked. If that had gone for 4, we'd be praising his skill. Let's have a look. He takes a step, and it's just the top of leg stump that's taken out. But Somerset have got to question their batting, really. When you get bowled out with still best part of 2 overs to go, there's problems there. And we've mentioned the fact that this is a side that, if you had all players fit and available, you would be fielding this side. But Somerset falling well short of where they would have hoped to be. So
yeah, and they've lost 9 wickets in just over 9 overs there. As you say, it's very difficult to be too critical of Jack Brooks there. Just really wanted to see them bat out the overs, marching again. The over before perhaps didn't need to play that shot, but it's not really the responsibility of the bowlers in such a short game, and leaving 11 balls out there is not ideal. But 152, there's something still to bowl at. Someone's got a very good bowling attack. They're in very good nick. A few of them, Ben Green had a bowl last night as well, so he will come into it as well with Lewis missing.
Yeah, and I guess despite the Lewis issue, obviously he picked up a 5 for last night, key player in that bowling attack. Actually, you've got more of your first team selected players there with Brooks, DeLanger, Overton, all in that lineup. You know, that is a strong bowling unit. So with Waller as well adding the spin option. So there's definitely reasons to be optimistic about the reply from Middlesex and how Somerset get on with ball in hand. 152 all out Somerset after 18.1 overs. Disappointing, but as we've said, there is reasons to be optimistic about it. We'll see how they get on in just a moment. Sam, perhaps for the benefit of people who haven't seen it before, you could describe to us what we are about to do here in the interval.
Well, it's one of my favourite times in the evening. It's time for trade in, trade out, courtesy of Trade Nation. So people have been asked to sign up through the week, so it's too late now if you haven't done it already, but there's still one game left to go. We've got a list of numbers. We've got randomly selected numbers. We're going to give you a call. Now, just by answering your phone, you're going to win yourself a Somerset Vitality Blast T20 shirt, as sported by Charlie Taylor. Same disclaimer as ever. But here's where the really exciting bit gets. And every time I have to say this, Charlie, I still can't quite believe it. So behind me is a very lovely multicoloured wheel that Tom Abel is hopefully going to use his biceps that he's been working on this afternoon to give us a spin. So we'll see half of the segments have got T's in. If you land on a T, you will win, as well as your Vitality shirt. And I still can't believe this. You win an iPad, a set of Bose headphones, £250 worth of fractures, £100 in delivery vouchers, and 150 quid worth of Somerset shop vouchers too. You keep your Vitality Blast shirt, as I said. Now, the element of jeopardy is, if you gamble and you lose, if you don't get a T, you walk away with nothing. I mean, agonising to walk away with nothing with all those prizes on display, courtesy of Trade Nation again. So Charlie's dialing in the numbers. Now, the key is, the first thing is I hope someone answers their phone, because we had it a couple of the Surrey game a few weeks ago, Tom. We had 5 people didn't answer their phone. And then Charlie was getting missed calls all the way through the week from people saying, oh, did you ring me? So here we go. Here's the tension.
Hello?
Hello? Is that Daisy?
Yeah, it is.
Hello, Daisy. It's Sam Dalling here. You're live on the Somerset County Cricket Club live stream. How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm actually at the match at the minute.
Oh, you're at the match, so you're streaming in style but using your own eyes.
Pardon?
You're streaming in style using your own eyes.
Yeah, it's good.
Where are you sat, Daisy? We're going to have a look for you.
On Gimlet Hill?
You're on Gimlet Hill. Oh, is Marcus Truscoffic down there having his dinner?
I'm having a pint.
You're having a pint. Can you give us a wave, Daisy? We'll see if we can get. We'll see. I will see if we can get a camera down anyway. Oh well, congratulations. What do you think of the first innings, by the way? A little bit short from Somerset. Oh, you were down. You were down there. You've got a better view than us. Is that what you're calling?
Yeah, I'm saying it was poor, and I'm afraid I think it's downhill from that moment.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was a little bit. I think we've got you on screen now. There you go, Daisy. Wonderful. Say hello to everyone. But 152, still just about defendable from Somerset if they bowl well.
I think so. I think we could do it if you put in a good bowling performance, hopefully.
Well, that's the spirit.
I'm confident.
Oh, exactly. Right, well, as you may well know, congratulations, you've won yourself a Vitality Blast shirt to take home. Now, if you're a favour of the rules of the game, we've got Tom Abel up here tonight. He's going to spin the multicoloured wheel. You've got a 50-50 chance. If you land in one of the tees, you win that amazing array of prizes. You get an iPad, Bose headphones, delivery vouchers, Somerset shop vouchers, 250 quid's worth of vouchers, or you can walk away and just not gamble, keep your Vitality Blast shirt. No pressure. You can do whatever you like. What do you fancy doing, Daisy? You going to gamble? You're going to gamble. Excellent. Well.
Oh, God, I really hope I can win the prize here.
No pressure here, Tom. No pressure.
I know.
Who's going to win?
Club captain Tom Abel. I know if you don't, he'll be so apologetic as well. He'll be straight down there.
We'll feel terrible if we don't win.
Right, well, here we go. We've got the camera on. Tom Abel is going to step up and use all his might. Lucky he's only a hamstring injury, so he can do this. Give it a big old spin, Tom. Oh, no. Sorry, Daisy. Sorry.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm so sorry. We have to move on. I'm sorry, Daisy. Lovely to speak to you. I hope Somerset can turn it around with a win for you.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
All right. Thanks, Daisy.
Right,
bye.
cheers.
Oh, so close. Yet so far away.
Tom, look, he's got his head in his hands there.
know.
He's Tom. So do we go for the next one then? Are we trying again? We're just checking, making sure. No, we're getting the shake of the head. Oh, no, that's it.
We've got a
Daisy. Oh,
We've
dear,
got a
oh, dear.
rollover. The Somerset players are back out there. Tom Abel is going to, I mean, he's going to be more gutted about that than missing these last few games. Could see him.
You're not wrong there.
That is the element of gamble that we play on the trade-in, trade-out game.
Exactly. You
I
know,
didn't get a very good spin at it, did I?
Oh, Tom, you can't start. The
regrets. But look, we've got a game to win.
Yeah.
Somerset are back out there. They're out in the middle. We've seen Jack Brooks and Max Waller. Perhaps didn't expect to see them when Somerset were 85 for 1 in the 9th over, but we saw them with bat in hand, and now we're going to see them with the ball. And how important is it to get off to a good start here, Tom, with the ball?
Yeah, wickets are going to be key. I think Eskenazi's done well at the top of the order for them. That's probably been one of the main parts of our sort of success so far in this competition, is obviously the ability to take wickets with that new ball. So yeah, it's going to be crucial, that first 6 overs this evening. If we can build a bit of pressure, you know, try and get that run rate above 8s, close to 9s, you know. We saw last weekend pressure can do funny things.
Yeah, Eskenazi's been in such good touch though, and he's now the Blast leading run scorer this year. He was the Blast's 2nd highest run scorer last year. He is seriously dangerous. I think he's got 104 games ago. He is really going great guns, and that partnership with Max Holden at the top of the order, they call him Little Chef. He bats a lot like Sir Alistair Cook, lots of pushes and pushes through point and pulls as well. But Middlesex again last night, they were going really well with those two at the crease, and then once Eskenazi fell, they fell away a little bit like Somerset did tonight. So again, even if Middlesex get off to a strong start, we've seen how quickly T20 can change.
Absolutely. And you know, we saw that in the Hampshire game here, didn't we? Hampshire got off to a good start, very good start. Looked up until about the 15th, 16th over like they were well on track, and then Somerset bringing it back. So certainly reasons to stay optimistic for Somerset to work on this. There are a few runs to play with. 152 is not many in a T20 game, we know, but we see teams win from stranger positions than this. We saw Yorkshire get bowled out for 81 in the week. You know, that's a strong T20 side, and it can happen to anyone. So Somerset will need that, though, and they'll have the likes of Craig Overton, Marchant de Lange, test cricketers. Well, certainly Marchant de Lange has played test cricket. Whether he still considers himself a test cricketer, I guess, is slightly different. But, you know, they are high-quality players for Somerset, and Waller, who's done the business year in, year out for Somerset with the ball in hand. So let's see what happens. It could be a real nail biter. We spoke earlier on, didn't we, right at the start, Tom, about how low-scoring games can also be the most tense ones. Let's see what happens. Middlesex hoping to chase this down. Somerset will do all they can to get a 3rd win in this week, their 4th game in 5 days. So there they are, having a bit of a team talk. What would be going through that team talk right now, Tom? What would you be talking about?
I think it's probably stressing, you know, that we've got to be right on it from ball 1. You know, particularly the way we start with the ball, how we set the tone is going to be so key. And you know, in the field, we've got to make sure that we're impeccable. You know, we're saving those 2s, throwing ourselves around, keeping good energy. As we've spoken about, you know, things can change very quickly. You know, at some point, I'm sure they're going to have a partnership, but it's being aware of that and making sure that we stick in the game. And when we get our opportunities to build pressure and take wickets, that, you know, we capitalise on those.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be put off. And I know Somerset have done this in red ball cricket a lot in the last few seasons, but I guess it's about not being put off with those partnerships. You know, if Middlesex get a good opening partnership, it still doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win the game.
No, absolutely, and sort of don't want to make any assumptions. You know, cricket is a funny game. You know, often we're used to high-scoring games here, but you know, sometimes you know, potentially there might be a little bit in the wicket. You know, and if you can get a couple of early wickets, you know, it's a very different game. So. Look, we've bowled really well in the last few games, and we're going to need to be at our best, both with the ball and in the field. Yeah, I think we've got the ability and the quality within our bowling attack to make it really difficult for them. But you know, we've got to be honest, we've fallen short in the first half, but there's nothing we can do about that now, and we've got to make sure we step up in this half of the game.
Yeah, so Somerset now taking to the field. You can see the players there. It's a disappointing first innings effort from Somerset. All changed really on that run out, that controversial run out from Eskenazi of of Conway. But we shall see how this goes. Somerset stripped of some of their players who would normally be in that first team squad, a bit like Tom Abel here. Played very well, very nice. You must have been quite happy with your form with the bat in the T20s leading up to the injury, Tom, were you?
Yeah, I guess sort of relatively happy. Certainly got sort of my insecurities around sort of white ball batting. But, you know, I started to feel like I was getting a bit of a rhythm and understanding in my game. The first game I felt all at sea, to be honest, but yeah, it was nice. I'll often judge my sort of performances in the context of games, and you know, it was nice that Kent game to sort of get a good win. But yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. You know, when you're feeling in good touch, that's when you get injured.
Well, it was going to be Craig Overton from the River End to start off Somerset's defence of 1-5-2, and it's not a convincing shot. There'll be a throw at the stumps, and if that had hit, it was only one stump to aim at there, and if it had hit, that would have been a wicket first ball, but as it is, not convincing from Middlesex. They do come through for a run.
No, and Stephen Eskenazi had given up there. I think he just had a look back at his partner and thought, what is he doing there? Because he's a long way out if he hits, and that would have been a perfect start for Somerset.
Well, it would have been a perfect start for Somerset. I'm going to take a Middlesex point of view. Why are they running risky singles when they're chasing down 1-5-2 from 20 overs? No point giving away wickets. Somerset won't mind, though. There is a slip in place. It's Lammonby as Overton comes in. And that goes through to the keeper. Play and miss from Eskenazi. So, good start from Somerset so far.
Yeah, and he'll be fired up, Craig Overton. He's fired up anyway, but we remember, we go back a few overs, he wasn't particularly pleased with his LBW decision, rightly or wrongly. I mean, it looked on the stream pretty close, but if he needs a little bit of extra edge, and he has spearheaded this Somerset attack since he's come back. He's been outstanding, often bowling 3 overs up top in the power play, really taking responsibility.
Overton again, and this one is going to go for 4 runs there, getting enough on it, just using the pace to play it backwards of square on the leg side. They're pulling the shot, and Eskenazi moves on to 4 runs, the score up to 5. Yeah, off the mark with a boundary, Eskenazi. I mean, having a look back at his scores, 59, 91, 64, 102, so him and Devon Conway have both been starting off the innings brilliantly for their respective sides, and he's a big wicket tonight for Somerset. Yeah, Craig Overton will be desperate for it as well, as that one goes through again to the keeper, Devon Conway, beating the bat for the second time this over. It's an interesting approach, isn't it? I wonder, Tom, as a chasing side, it's a bit difficult. When you're only chasing 150, there's the temptation to not play your natural game and just try and work the ball around and do it in the 20 overs. But actually, these two are quite obviously going out to have a go at the power play, and they've been so successful in the last couple of games doing it, they're not going to shy away from that.
No, absolutely. I think generally speaking now, teams look to be really positive at the start of the innings.
Overton in and bowled him, middle stump out of the ground, played on, and that is a great start for Somerset. Craig Overton, double-fisted punch into the air as he takes a wicket. Middle stump ripped out in the first over. You talked about the stumps coming out a lot. We've seen it again now. Somerset will be pumped up after that, including, probably more than anyone, Craig Overton. Yeah, huge wicket that from Somerset. You could see how much it means to him. He's taken a blow. And Stephen Eskenazi's hand there's really hurt him. Bit of extra pace, fired up. That is a massive wicket. 59, 91, 64, 102, and just 4 tonight. Somerset will be happy. Insult to injury, that, isn't it? You get a 90-mile-per-hour ball on your hand from Craig Overton, and your middle stump's ripped out of the ground from it. Is it true, Tom? We've all been saying, everyone have been saying Craig has put on an extra yard of pace or 2. You're probably very well placed to judge that. Can you see that when you're out there with him?
Yeah, I think. I mean, he's bowled quick spells in the past, but I think it's the consistency of it now. He sort of bowls a horrible length, you know, and he's bowling with good pace and incredible skill. That's the biggest thing. I think that's a quality piece of bowling. Obviously, Eskenazi looked like he was trying to give himself a bit of room, and he's cramped him for room, and obviously that's a massive start for us, and he looks like he's running in hard here. Cracknell is the new man, and it's played out towards point. In fact, he's found the gap. It's nicely played. It did look catchable. It's fielded well, though, as Smead scrambles around to stop them from getting a boundary. Cracknell moves on to 2 from his first ball. 7 for 1 after 1 over, and Somerset will be very pleased with that. Just a quick look at what's happening around the ground. People enjoying the Trade Nation games, which they've brought with them. Bit of target practice, Tom. You'd be an ace at that, I should think. Be one of those you're probably expected to hit every time, and if you don't, it doesn't look great.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's the sort of thing you'd avoid in a ground, is it, for fear of being shown up?
100%.
Okay.
So we're going to have the headband warrior, Jack Brooks, who's been really impressive. Started the season in the side, was left out upon Craig Rassand, but has worked his way back into it. Has been really impressive. When he made his Somerset T20 debut earlier in the season, flicked into the leg side from Holden. It's gone in front of square. It's going to race away for a boundary. So Holden, shaky start. Just faced the one ball in the first over. Nearly ran out Steve Eskenazi, but he's got the first boundary of the innings there off Jack Brooks' first ball.
That's a nice length for a batsman on pretty straight, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think it's pretty nice to get rid of any nerves you might have had. See if Brooks can improve here.
Flicked into the leg side, cannoned into the pad. Attacking field this from Somerset, I like it in T20. They know they've got to take wickets really. If Middlesex bat for 20 overs, then 80-90% of the time they're going to win this game. So good stuff from Craig Overton. Extra responsibility as captain as well tonight. He's probably done a little bit before, but not that much. And the game moves so quickly. You've got to be bowling and captaining, and these games move thick and fast, don't they?
Yeah, look, Craig's sort of a multifaceted cricketer, and I think he's really sort of become a real leader within this group. So I think he'll take to it pretty naturally, to be honest.
Take a single through to Delango. Joe Cracknell off the mark. Only played a few games, Joe Cracknell. Another one of Middlesex's youngsters coming through their academy system. So played just the 4 times last year. Made a maiden half century. He got 77 earlier in this season as well. Yeah. Durham Uni lad, he's been up there. I was up watching Durham and having a look at the club scores the other week, and Joe Cracknell was just playing club cricket up there while he was at university. Probably getting paid a decent wedge as well. Jack Brooks continues outside off stump. Scrambling across Lewis Goldsworthy at point, but it's gone past him. Looks like Will Smead is going to do the fielding. Is that Will Smead?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the Under Armour on. That's how I can tell him from a long way away. Picked up a couple though.
Yeah, this is good from Somerset so far. I've seen, as you say, attacking, trying to get onto everything. We spoke about fielding in the first innings.
Brooks again. Pushed out to cover. Just the fielding to end the over. 15 for 1.
Not quite.
Not quite end the over. I've got overexcited. 1 ball, 2 over. Too quickly. Saw Jack Brooks on Sky the other night. Clocked at 86 miles an hour.
He would have been delighted by that.
He was, wasn't he?
He's obviously had a word and slipped them a fiver.
Oh, it's gone in the air. Not quite short enough. The wicketkeeper's called for it. Devon Conway's going to take the catch. Yes, he is.
Beauty.
Max Holden has got to go. We were talking about Jack Brooks' 86 miles an hour. I think that one was up in the 90s. It was too quick for Max Holden. Top edge. It's gone up. Brooks is away, celebrating at square leg. 2 quick wickets in the power play for Somerset. Brilliant stuff, Jack Brooks.
If that was in the 90s, then my name is Marcus Draskothic.
Kilometres per hour, I didn't necessarily...
Oh, okay, well, it could have been. Devon Conway called for it as a wicketkeeper, using the gloves here for Somerset, only the 2nd time. And he looked pretty good there. A lot of ground to cover, Tom.
Yeah, safe as houses. It's one of those, you probably always want your keeper getting there if they can. But yeah, he looks sort of pretty composed under that high ball, and that's exactly what we needed, isn't it? A couple of big wickets at the start, and if we can pick up one more here in the next few overs, that'll be a huge boost for us.
A good thing the over didn't end when I called it, really.
Yeah.
We needed that extra ball.
Yeah, and a useful dot ball as well, which we'll come to talk about towards the end of the innings, how wickets are also dot balls. It does all add up, but
I mean, that's the biggest wicket taker in 2020 cricket, is pressure.
And actually, really, in that over, there wasn't that much pressure. They'd already scored a couple of singles, a 2 and a 4 from that. So I think Middlesex were really disappointed that they went for the big shot when they didn't need to, and it's cost them a wicket.
Good to see a passionate celebration as well from Brooksy. Can't beat that. It's awesome.
I thought you were going to say from me then. I did a bit of fist pump in the studio when we were seeing it.
No, I can see your passions as well, Charlie. I love it. It's good. Keep it coming.
It's hard when he's watching Somerset not to, for me. Anyway, it's going to be Craig Overton, right-handed over the wicket, and they say no run there as Mitchell sends back Cracknell. Just 15 runs up on the board with 2 wickets down in the power play, and that is absolutely crucial for Somerset. Don't forget, the Royal London Cup competition is coming up later this month. Lots of Somerset players looking forward to playing in that one, I should think. Defending as well their title from 2019. You can get your tickets online now. There should be some really good cricket in there. As this one is a short ball and given as a no ball there for height. So going too short.
Just had a little look, didn't he, at his colleague at square leg. It was just, but to the naked eye, it looked a little bit short. I'm really excited for that Royal London Cup. And I know there are a few players going away to play in another tournament. We still got likes of Steve Davies and Hildy's around, George Bartlett, Marchant, Jack Brooks will be around, Lewis Goldsworthy, Jack Leach might even play. So really strong side to defend, try and defend the title there.
It's a quick bowl there, and it looks full, and there's a chance for run out, and there was a nice effort from this DeLanger. It is, isn't it? Yeah, just trying to get it in.
I think we've got a real chance here to put them under the pump early. You know, with those 2 wickets so early, they'll probably be trying to look to rebuild a little bit here, and you know, try to get some dots on them.
Well, we talked, didn't we, about those partnerships, but also in the same way, those 2 early wickets will have really fired Somerset up. We talked about not getting your heads down with a partnership, but this will be putting Somerset well on there, and Craig Overton spearheading that attack will be, you know, really part of that, bringing the team forward with him as captain as well tonight. So great to see him bowling well and keeping his team going.
And the chance for run out, I think, the early, I don't know if it's pressure, I don't know if they're like this normally, Middlesex, but a couple of times already we've seen them a bit hesitate.
Yeah.
Saw the first ball called through for a run that wasn't really there, so there's a big chance for Somerset there.
Overton in, and this one is just tucked up a little bit there is Mitchell, plays out onto the leg side. They'll think of 2, but in the end turn it down as Goldsworthy comes in. And in the end it's just a single added. Somerset have a chance here. They're defending a low total of 152. They've taken 2 early wickets. We spoke about making sure that there were breakthroughs earlier on. They've done that. They want to keep chipping away just to keep adding to that wickets column.
Yeah, Darryl Mitchell, another big wicket for them. Very experienced cricketer. Played a lot of domestic stuff, a lot of international stuff over in New Zealand. Scored loads of runs in their recent competition over there.
That's a nice looking shot. Just pulled and hits the scoreboard. The electronic scoreboard over towards the Gimblett Hill area. Good pick-up, and that's gone for 6 runs from Craig Overton, from the delivery of Craig Overton. Yeah, nice looking shot that from Cracknell.
Just a little bit short, helped it on its way. Not quite out of the ground territory, that, I don't think. So still 50 quid for charity and takes a bit of pressure. Middlesex will be pleased with that. Takes a bit of pressure off.
Overton in again over the wicket to Cracknell, and this one is just pushed into the offside. Just a no dot ball, that one in the end, actually. 24 for 2 after 3 overs. So Somerset, you'd say, would be the happier, really, to have sent both openers back already.
Yeah, just the 9 off that one. In the end, Jack Brooks is going to continue from the Marcus Trescothic Pavilion end. It's interesting, so often we see teams, we saw Middlesex do it, change the bowling around a lot in the power play, but Somerset, in these last couple of games in particular, Craig's bowled 3 overs quite a bit and Brooks, he's bowled a couple, so it's slightly unusual in T20 these days, but it seems to be a tact that's working well.
It is, yeah, and I think, you know, each team is probably going to do what's right for them, you know, so because it's sort of probably the best thing for us at the moment, it's not necessarily the best thing for other teams. You know, previously, you know, Waller's bowled the first over a lot of the time, but yeah, I just think you look, obviously, the bowler that Craig is and what he does with the ball, sort of a real wicket-taking option at the top.
Yeah,
because he sort of bowls a really awkward length, he gets the ball moving, and I think Brooksy's been getting a bit of swing here as well, so...
Yeah, even that one that went to the boundary first ball looked like it swung a bit. A dot ball there to Mitchell, who's just got 1 off his 6 balls so far. George Bartlett swooping in from cover. No chance of a run. Brooks off that slightly shorter run up. False start. I think Craig Overton may have been having a word, and the umpire just quieted him down. Oh, a little bit of swing there as well. They've had a run. There's going to be a leg by. It's good stuff from Jack Brooks. Good start to this over.
Just a reminder as well, we'd mentioned the One Day Cup campaign getting going later this month. There is a beer and cider festival happening right here at the ground with, I'm told, 80 different types of beers and ciders on offer. So if you fancy that, it's the Derbyshire game. That's the 25th, a Sunday. So look out on Monday morning, everyone. As that one wrapped on the pads, a little bit high maybe.
Yeah, big more interest from the wicketkeeper. Jack Brooks wasn't particularly interested. It's a leg bind, but again, just 2 off the over. Yeah, no finer place to have a beer and cider festival than the Cooper Associates County Ground. I mean, if you haven't seen friends for a while, just after the restrictions have hopefully lifted, perfect place to come down and enjoy a drink.
Absolutely. Hopefully the cricket's good as well on that day. Some good weather in for the One Day Cup.
Brooks again down the wicket. He saw him coming. It's really good stuff from
Got a
Brooks
really
there.
good length here, isn't he? Just top of the stumps. Quite difficult to hit, actually. So.
Yeah, just a 2 off it. Mitchell's definitely finding him hard to hit. Just cramped him for room. He's looking to pull that, but it's gone.
You can keep building the pressure, you know, and then you might get a chance or a half chance. You know, we can sort of put ourselves in a really good position there.
Been a bit of a revelation, hasn't he, this season in the T20s? Not been. He made his debut this season for Somerset in the T20, so kept his place, done really well.
Down the wicket, Mitchell has tickled away. I don't know if it's off the pad or I think the umpire's signalling it's a leg byes. They're going to get 4 regardless. Just slightly, Mitchell came down the wicket. Brooks tried to follow him, just pin him for space, but actually just slightly leg side, and they've got a boundary.
That's frustrating as a bowler, isn't it? Just seeing he'd gone a bit too leg side, just takes a little flick. And there's no one there. So 4 runs added after what was a very good opening 4 balls to this over.
See what he's got, finishes it off well. Look, Mitchell's looking for the run, yeah, good running that. Brooks dives on it, kind of goalkeeper flying along its 6-yard box, but they've taken a single off the final ball of the over. 31 for 2, but a decent over that from Jack Brooks, but key for Somerset. They've been really keen to get another wicket in this power play before the partnership just starts to build.
Well, and you know, there were 7 runs there from that over. Actually, just looking over at the scoreboard, the required rate is 7.6. So actually, in the power play, to be keeping Middlesex to under the required rate, okay, only just, but still not to be going for 10s or 12s. It just means that you're just keeping them slightly in check.
Well, with every dot ball, doesn't it? The run, because of the length of the game, the run rate just pushes up that little bit, and that's all pressure. It's all psychological stuff.
Slowly at first, but quicker and quicker as the game goes on. Overton in again for another over. This one played out into the leg side. It won't be a boundary as it's Goldsworthy out sweeping over there, although he didn't have to do much running to pick up that one. Came straight to him, really. 32 for 2. So Overton into his 3rd over here. We talked about Overton being good up top rather than at the death, so using up certainly 3 at least of his 4 overs straight away, the captain. He'll come in again over the wicket to Cracknell. And this one is in the air. It's going to go all the way. No, just dropping inside for 4 runs there. No one out on that side of the field through mid-wicket. Certainly deep. So there was 4 runs there to Middlesex. Good pick-up.
Still in the. It was a good pick-up. Still in the power play. So just that one man out there. Didn't quite get hold of it. No. It's a shortish boundary. Change of field then. Another fielder's gone out there to patrol that boundary. Man, I think it was down at deep point. Has come up. Overton made the signal almost straight after that ball. The umpire, because a member of the crowd's touched it, is just going to sanitise it. Can't be great for a quick ball. You do all that work keeping the ball, trying to keep the ball dry. And then you have to have it sanitised because a member of the crowd's touched it.
A member of the filthy crowd dared to touch the cricket ball.
Those vectors of disease.
Yeah. Overton then probably dried it off a little bit in his hands, the ball, and that's a Yorker length delivery defended by Cracknell. No run there.
Excellent comeback there from Craig, and it'll be interesting to see what he does because Lewis Gregory isn't around to bowl that final over tonight, so maybe he'll come back and take responsibility if we get that deep to bowl
that's
the
the thing,
final
isn't
over.
it? Yeah, Somerset will be hoping that they don't get to the 20th over and that actually they've taken all the wickets before then. Don't forget as well, we'll do streaming style. Keep your pictures coming in. We'll announce the winners soon. And that will go straight through again. Another one that's beaten the back. Craig Overton's done it a few times so far in this match already in just his 3rd over.
Just wonder as well if slow balls look like they might be gripping in the surface. You know, which hopefully can work in our favour.
Yeah.
Particularly like as the innings goes on, you know, when guys are trying to start, if taking the pace off it can make it difficult to start.
So Overton's in again. This one nicely picked up. Is it going to be a catch? It is! What a catch on the boundary! Lewis Goldsworthy, who spotted it, had to be really careful to make sure his legs didn't, or his feet didn't touch the boundary rope itself. And really, there was a fair bit of height on it. I wondered if it would go over his head, but no, Goldsworthy there, keeping hold of it. And Somerset have got their third. Overton his second.
Yeah, brilliant catch that from Lewis Goldsworthy. As you said, had to really watch it. Cracknell struck that pretty well. He was quite happy. You can see he's really disappointed with that. Hit that one well, 5 yards either side, and he's got 6. But really good stuff. We've seen Lewis Goldsworthy sweeping well out there already. He's been in the thick of the action. Beautiful stuff.
Somerset right back in this time, aren't they? 3 of the batsmen straight away back into the pavilion.
Yeah, I think, probably be slightly happier with the 2 teams at the moment. That's a really good catch. I think it's never easy when you're sort of the ball's travelling like that and you're so close to the boundary. But yeah, he stayed calm and sort of took it really well. And yeah, I think Craig's fired up here. It's been a really good start for us. Exactly what we needed if we were going to have a chance in the game.
When you see those boundary catches happen, quite often they're looping high catches, and the fielder's got a bit of time to maybe even look down to make sure, just check where the rope is. Goldsworthy didn't have time. That was a flat batted shot, really. Had to just focus on the ball and just hope, really, try and keep as close to the
sometimes I think that probably works, in your favour, because you've not got time to think. When the ball goes, high, there's all sorts of negative thoughts that go through your mind.
Simpson's on strike. New batsman in that one is just defended. Great over from the England all-rounder, Craig Overton, who is having, and has had for the last few seasons, a fantastic time with ball. And let's not forget his batting as well is great, although only survived, in fact didn't survive a single ball tonight. But he's a great player. What a great player to have on your side, captaining tonight. It must just be so great when he comes back from England duty and walks his way straight into this side and takes wickets, fielding like he does and scoring runs as well.
I'm just so happy that he's a Somerset player.
You can
see
you're
in the slips and it's just like, oh my God, it looks just so hard to face. And again, just gives it absolutely everything every single day. And yeah, I can't compliment Craigo highly enough. And it's a shame he didn't get his opportunity with England, but it can't be far away. I think we see it day in, day out how good he is. And he's just got to keep banging that door down, But the brilliant thing is when he comes back to play for us, he's desperate to do well. He's desperate for us to win. So yeah, he's an absolute godsend to have in your team.
Yeah, we're going to see a man. Jack Brooks is continuing. Gone for a single off his first ball of the third over. Oh, beats Simpson for pace there a little bit. Superb stuff from Jack Brooks, a man who's probably not going to get England honours in his career, but has been a fine cricketer. And he's been, what is his 3rd season at Somerset? But actually, this is the first year he's bowled pain-free. In the winter, at one point, he only had one working limb. He had both Achilles done. He'd broken a hand in the Bob Willis Trophy final, and he looks as fit as a fiddle. We had him up here a couple of weeks ago. Oh, he's done Simpson again. Devon Conway juggles that. He's definitely getting a bit of swing, Jack Brooks. And John Simpson's a fine cricketer, a bit of a nemesis of Somerset. I was having a look now. He averages 60 in T20 against Somerset. He averages 92 here at the Cooper Associates County Ground.
He averages 92 at the Cooper Associates County Ground.
I mean, his best score in his T20 career was 84 not out against Somerset in Uxbridge a few years ago. And there's a few not outs in there, but he is a really dangerous player. Strikes it above 150.
This is proper bowling, this is.
Slip's gone in after those last 2 balls beat the bat, and Simpson pushes it towards Waller at mid-on, and there is never a single to mid-on at Max Waller. Don't forget, Streaming Style is still going. Hashtag Streaming Style. Tweet at Somerset and Next Trade Nation. Could win £150 or a Vitality Blast shirt. We want to see how you're watching the game. You're joining us. It's set up to be quite a tense finish here as well. 2 balls left in the power play. Brooks goes for the bouncer. He's beaten Devon Conway for pace as well. It really got up, that one. It's going to be a no ball. For height. Jack Brooks got that one through. Devon Conway couldn't stop it. He got a glove on it, so it didn't go away for 4. But good bounce and carry there from Jack Brooks.
That was a ferocious throw back to Devon Conway from Craig Overton. Conway had to take his glove off to look at the pain from catching it from Craig Overton. He really fired. I think he was aiming for the stumps, and Conway thought it was a throw to him, so he tried to catch it, but that was
Craig doesn't do anything by half.
No, he doesn't. Not even thrown to the keeper. Poor old Conway.
So
not brought in as a keeper.
Marching Delaney's gone out to deep mid-wicket. You can change the field because the batsman crossed and there's a right-hander on strike. Straight leg side from Brooks. Going to be a wide, so you're going to have to go again with that one. Just a little bit of, 3 runs here. They had 3 off that last one with 3 no balls. You're going to get the wides.
It's a shame because it was such a good over up to that point there.
Still only 5 off it. He's got 2 balls left to go. Let's see what he's got to come back. It's a Yorker driven down the ground by Mitchell. They'll get no run. Craig Overton again, as Tom Abel has said, does everything 100%. He scrambles around, pings it in to Devon Conway. Somerset got that ringer fields on the offside. We've got Max Waller, George Bartlett, Lewis Goldsworth hit point, Ben Green. Not giving away any easy singles. That's a good shot there from Daryl Mitchell. Struck it down the ground. That's raced away for a 1 bounce 4. End of the power play then. Middlesex have lost 3 wickets, 45 for 3. So an evenish game.
Yeah, disappointing that, wasn't it? Brooks will be really frustrated. Those extras coming in that over, no ball and a wide, and then driven for 4 over his head. Last ball of the power play. So disappointing, but well done to Dan, who's won one of our prizes here. Look at that, streaming in style. Got the cricket on the big TV. Glad to see that. There is some other competition happening at the moment in some other sport, but can't really remember what it is.
What a setup that is.
So that is, and I also like in the ambient blue light around there. There's clearly, and the fan in the middle. It's a hot room, clearly. He's got that sorted, and the blue light just to add a bit of atmosphere.
You get the impression Dan streams in style even when Somerset aren't playing with that setup.
He streams the 6 o'clock news in style. Does Dan? It's going to be DeLanger from the river end. That's quick and pulled shot. It's going to be safe. Will it go for 4? There's a scrambling fielder who does well to collect it. I think it might be Lammonby over there, is it? We'll have a look when it gets closer. Yeah, it is Lammonby. Confirmed by his club captain here, Tom Abel, who can pick out any fielders in the side from a distance because he needs to point them all sorts of directions during the Red Bull
you spend that
competition.
much time with them, you get to know each other pretty well.
It's going to be DeLanger. Great big frame of DeLanger in, and this one is going to be played again straight out towards Lammonby, and there'll just be the 1 run added again.
If we can sort of suffocate them through, obviously now with the fielders going out, try and starve them at boundaries, I think that can go a long way to sort of, again, building the pressure and hopefully creating chances.
So we've had 3 overs from Overton, 3 from Brooks. They've got 1 each apiece. We're into DeLanger now. We've got to start. They are planning to bowl them out here, aren't they, Somerset, by the look of them, the way they're going about this. Perhaps not saving just the 1 from those 2 overs, that is, from Brooks and Overton. If needed, towards the end. DeLanger straight back into the attack as this one is just angled down towards fine leg. And they come through again for a single.
It's been so impressive in this competition so far, Marchand DeLanger with the ball in hand. Was it the Surrey game? He had a really difficult start to his spell, didn't he? A couple of no balls, so all of a sudden he had 16, 18 off the over, but since then, he come back really well. He had 3 for 18, 0 for 13 off 4 overs the other night, but every game he's been pretty consistent. Those Yorkers, a little bit of extra pace has done really well for him.
He's in, and that's a fuller ball. This one just played out again towards the mid-on area by Simpson.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. He's got those Yorkers in. He's taken big wickets, bowled with good pace. It's been a genuine wicket-taking option through those middle overs, which is such a key part of the game.
Here he is again, then. And this one goes up in the air. It should be a wicket. Mitchell's gone. That's a big wicket. A big wicket. Brooks takes the catch, and that is the end of Daryl Mitchell. And that could be a big moment here. It's 50 for 4, and Somerset are right back in this.
Yeah, a little bit of extra pace. Mitchell didn't get hold of it. He's been struggling. 10 off 15 balls. Marchand DeLanger, we talked about how good he's been in this competition. He can't keep Jack Brooks out of a game. Plenty of celebrations, a bit of feet stomping from the back from Tom Abel. Hope that hamstring's all right.
It's absolutely fine. Feels better now.
It's getting better every wicket, isn't it? Yeah. Well, we talked about early wickets. That's 4 before the end of the 7th over, and Somerset, who have now got rid of 4 of Middlesex's top order, have worked their way back into this game. Still over 100 runs needed. Yes, okay, the run rate's only 7.8, and in a T20 that's very achievable, but now Middlesex will have to be careful, thinking, well, we're into our middle order, and actually we can't afford to give away wickets.
Yeah, exactly. There's still a long way to go. The thing I like is, you know, it looks like we're sort of asking them to take really tough options to score their boundaries. Obviously, that's quite a heavy length again, and he's obviously felt the need to sort of go down the ground, and that's a pretty tough ask, I think, against someone like Marchant. So, yeah, obviously a long way to go, but I think if we can, you know, stick to what we've been doing, hitting that awkward length, you know, I think we can put ourselves in a real good position here.
Now then, it's Holman who's the new man. I will just declare an interest here, is that I am a Holman, as my mum's maiden name, as this one is a full Yorker length, and there is just dug out by Holman.
So you're saying the Middlesex have signed the wrong Holman, Charlie?
They've got the wrong man, is what they've done. Though technically we're spelt slightly differently. I've only got one L in mine, but it is actually my middle
Charlie.
name.
I've been on the phone to Sarge as DOC.
That's it. Why do you think I'm wearing the shirt? I'm waiting for the call up right now.
I know you were so close today as well with Lewis Gregory missing out late doors.
I thought that was it. But as soon as we heard that, you know, tweaked his knee, I was out the door.
We thought when Tom called me back.
As well.
We thought when Tom came up, that was it. It was finally the call was coming.
I'm not sure about skippering. I've never been the captain of my village team. They've never let me. I would love to have a go, but they've never let me do it.
Missing a trick.
Yeah, I see. The thing is, I think I'd just be reluctant to bring myself on, which is you know, you do a bit of bowling in the red ball team. Do you ever feel that? We'll come back to that in a moment. It's going to be Ben Green.
Great start.
It's interesting. Somerset haven't gone to spin yet. Goldsworthy and Waller in the side. So what Tom was saying a bit earlier on, swinging a little bit under lights and pace off the ball as well has done well for Somerset. So they're going to stick with seam.
I think we've got to keep it simple here. Obviously, easy to get carried away when you got sort of 4 wickets pretty early on and to go chasing for it. But I think try and keep it real simple, exactly like that. Sort of hit that area, make it really tough for them to score.
Well, yeah, because it's still Somerset. Well, Middlesex only need just over 100 to win. The required rate's now up at 8.05. So still, if Middlesex will know, they've got experienced player John Simpson out there, a very promising youngster, Luke Holman, who, I mean, we talked a bit about their academy lads. He's won. There's a place in Middlesex, in North London. It's amazing. There's 5 cricket grounds, all 5 different clubs, all right next to each other. It's like wonderful for a club cricket.
It sounds like the equivalent of the Swindon Magic Roundabout. All the roundabouts next to each other in one great tribute to terrible road management. Good ball, that.
It is the I know which one I'd rather visit.
Yes, so do I.
I think it's like
So do I.
So it's North Middlesex, North London, Hornsey, Crouch End and Highgate. They're all next to each other. So Holman and Ethan Bamber, who's not playing tonight, they're teammates. So they both went on to the England Under-19 World Cup a couple of years ago. They're the first club side ever to have 2 representatives of England at an Under-19 World Cup. How about that one for you?
Perfect.
Yeah, lots of experience from Simpson. They know, again, if they bat the overs, but every ball, that run rate just creeps up. It was at 8 and over at the start of this over. It's now up to 8.27. So that little bit, even if Somerset can go at 6s or 7s, it's about not giving them those bad balls, those boundary scoring options.
Yep, Green going really well. Had a moustache last year.
Just a single then there. Down to third man. Eddie Byram doing the fielding. Yeah, Ben Green keeping hydrated, as we saw on behind the wyvern. His snack was very water heavy, as opposed to Josh Davey. Josh Davey had his chicken box, but
his snack was ridiculously healthy.
It was.
It was like fruit, nuts.
I reckon he had plenty of chocolate underneath.
Yeah, Josh Davey just had a box of chicken.
Continues then. Good stuff from Ben Green. They'll take a single down the ground. John Simpson, a really good over this from Ben Green. Just the free off it. 53 for 4. 12 overs remaining, and that run rate has just crept up to 8.33.
Yeah, the pressure will begin to tell. If they can keep on it, they will see they'll see that creep up even more. Here we go. We're going to see some people about to win some Thatcher's cider in the crowd. There he is. Oh, he looks delighted. Look at that. How many Thatchers deep do you think he is already?
He's got plenty to get through though. What a prize again.
Great big crate on the way to, was his name Kevin, was it? Well done, Kevin, if that is your name. 53 for 4, 8 overs in here. So it's 100 runs exactly. 100 runs exactly to win for Middlesex. Somerset, well, they'll be looking at those 6 wickets. It's Lammonby, and this one, I'll think about 2 Middlesex. Oh, there's a slip, and it means that Somerset will keep them down to just 1. And again, the ball is fired in towards Conway behind the stumps.
Yeah, a brave man taking 2 to Marshall, and he's got an absolute rocket of an arm.
He's brilliant. He's very quick around the field, isn't he? Very athletic around his size. This is interesting. DeLange bowled that brilliant over, but maybe they're taking the just thinking about taking the pace off the ball. And with DeLange, he got that extra pace, and you just get a nick, and it runs away for 4. But Somerset have gone to Tom Lammonby here. Left armour, change of angle for the 2 left-handers, but it'll be more difficult to get away for Middlesex. So they're just going to try and cramp them here a little bit, I think.
Here he comes in, Lammonby over the wicket. This one not played convincingly out through cover area, and they just come through for a single, not really timed very well.
You're obviously going to have sort of an idea of like each role within the team with the ball, and obviously Marchant's probably going to be bowling the tough overs, so you obviously don't want to bowl him out too soon. So yeah, I'm sure Craig's got a pretty clear picture of who he wants bowling at what stage of the innings.
And this one has gone into the air this time. Fielder comes underneath it, and that will be taken as well. It's Smead who takes the catch. And the score now, all the 5s, 55 for 5. And there's another Middlesex batsman heading back. It's John Simpson, who will go with just 7 runs to his name, and Somerset well on top here. And you'd say now, having not hit as many runs as they would have liked, are in the box seat to win a low-scoring game at Taunton.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, that, from a Somerset perspective. Lots of credit to Craig Overton bringing Lammonby on there. Simpson was trying to give himself some room. Lammonby followed him, not bowled much this season at all, really. So it's almost his first over of this campaign, it might well be. Gone up in the air. John Simpson, we talked about his average. That's gone down a little bit against Somerset today. They'll be delighted to see the back of him, and 5 down.
Well, Middlesex have played this in an odd way, really, you feel. If you're a Middlesex fan watching this, I think I'd be pretty disappointed with the way the players, the batsmen, have gone about it, chasing what is a low total, 153 to win. And they've got out to playing some pretty big shots, and that's pressure, isn't it? A lot of dot balls. We've seen some really good bowling so far. It is exactly
that. He bowled really well. Buzzing for Lammers there. I think that'll do his confidence a world of good.
Here is it again.
Good bit of bowling as well. Just followed him a little bit, and it's a big wicket. He's a very dangerous player. So.
Yep, Smead doing the fielding as well, taking the catch, which is
he can do everything, can't he, Smeady?
Yeah, he's a very good player to have on your side. And another talented Somerset youngster coming through. You were one of those one day, Tom, as that goes into the air, but there's no fielder underneath it. Really not timed at all, that ball shot. And the score moves up to 56 for 5.
It's just that pace off the ball again. You have to force it a little bit more. You have to try and hit it harder against someone like Lammonby, and that has brought a mistake already in this over.
That's exactly it. It's trying to sort of have an open mind, as I say. You know, easy at Taunton to sort of look for those big scores, but equally sometimes, you know, it's not always possible. And I still don't think we probably batted as well as we could have done, but again, you can't take anything for granted, and you've got to sort of react to what's in front of you. And I think that's what we've done so well with the ball and in the field here. You know, we've identified, you know, when we can really attack, and the boys have executed brilliantly.
Lammonby left armour over the wickets down the leg side. It'll be given a wide. And Somerset as well. I know I keep mentioning it, and you don't want to find excuses for things, but actually this is nowhere near the first team that Somerset would ideally want to put out, not to take anything away from these players, but they're doing really well. Players who have been brought in who perhaps wouldn't have been in this side otherwise. You know, players like Tom Banton, yourself, Tom, James Hildreth, Roland van der Merwe all missing out, as this is Lammonby in again. This one played into the leg side by Souter.
Yeah,
no, it's a side that's come together really well.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think there's sort of you lose anything in terms of quality and ability. That's what a squad's all about. You know, of course, you know, when you lose someone like, you know, Bantz, I mean, what an unbelievable player he is, and obviously Lewis is a massive player for us. We've got trust in each other and a lot of faith in each other that we can sort of, whoever it is comes in, can fulfil that role. And I think that's a huge part of our team at the moment, the trust within the group. And look, guys are putting their hand up and performing in games. Yeah, which is amazing to see, really.
Yep, still plenty of time for Middlesex here. We should certainly not write them off in the same way we didn't write Somerset off to start with. They've got 11 overs left, 5 wickets in hand. They need 95 runs. The run rate net, they're 8.6. So they'll have to play well, but as with T20 cricket, anything can happen.
Yeah, we're going to see Martin DeLange back. Switch of ends. 1 over out of the attack. Craig Overton's brought him back on Marcus Tresckovic pavilion end. Goes to Souter. A little bit short. Souter, not eyes on the ball there at all. It's cannon into the pad and they've taken a single. Now this is where Somerset, they brought DeLange back as a wicket-taking option. Souter's perhaps a position too high, really. Brilliant bowling attack, Middlesex, but they've got kind of 5 out-and-out bowlers. And Souter only batted 25 times in his 70-odd games. Highest score of 31. Like, he's only faced 120-odd balls in his career, so it's just 1 spot too high, perhaps, if not 2.
Well, this is why getting those first 5 batsmen out, and it is the top 5 batsmen. You know, it exposes that, as I was talking about the middle order, and as we hear, actually Middlesex have got a bit of a tail.
Yeah,
enjoying this as well. Obviously, easy thing to have just 4 in the circle, but we've got 5. Obviously, Craig's recognised good chance to sort of try and get dot balls and yeah, really put the squeeze on them.
Well, this is an interesting point, isn't it? Because it wouldn't be like Craig's prepared this for captaincy. He was up until 10 minutes before the toss, probably expecting to just be another member of the side. But here he is captaining. So how much preparation do you think he actually would have been able to do? Come to that point after this ball.
DeLange, a short one again, well directed, I think. It's a very good short ball. That'll be his 1 for the over. Souter ducked underneath that one. The first ball of the over a couple of deliveries ago was a bit uncomfortable. He's gone out of the way of that one. Good stuff from DeLange. Used his short ball early, but it's a dot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's something Craig would have necessarily prepared for. But equally, he's a natural leader within our group.
And it comes again. Oh, it was flayed by Souter. Got a lot on it. Goldsworthy diving to his left at backward point. Maybe got a hand to it. Maybe flashed past him very quickly. Half a chance, but it would have been a spectacular catch. They've got a boundary. Nathan Souter off marching to DeLange. Let's have a little look at the replay. Hit that really hard. Goldsworthy diving away.
Yeah, it would have been a hell of a catch. Would have been a painful catch.
They won't mind that too much, though.
Just a little bit of width on offer there.
It was. We just see, Max Waller's gone back now, but before that ball, he crept in really close, just ready to get that. We saw Souter try and jump out of the way, so he almost had a short square leg. He's gone back now. We'll see if it's the old double bluff, because he's had his short ball for the over. DeLange goes for the Yorker, flicked away. Didn't quite direct it correctly. Overton will do the fielding. They'll scramble 2. It was well placed in the end. Souter back at the striker's end. 1 ball left in the over, 8 off it so far, so we're approaching the halfway stage of this Middlesex innings. They're 66 for 5. Charlie Taylor would love it if they were 66 for 6, only because of the wicket, but because of his obsession with 11s and
yeah, well,
roundness
happened,
of figures.
55 for 5. Had fun calling that.
DeLange goes for the Yorker. Beautiful shot, though, from Souter. Didn't quite get it up there. It's a bit of a half volley in the end, but he still had to put it away. It raced away. He used that extra pace of DeLange. End of the over, 12 from it. Middlesex halfway, 70 for 5.
Yeah, disappointing. Bit of a disappointing end there with those 2 boundaries coming, but let's give a bit of praise to Souter. It was nicely played, that one certainly. So the answer to the previous one we asked you about T20 50s, Tom, you called it right. It was Keysy. Craig Keyswetter, most T20 50s. We've got another question for you now. How many players have played 100 T20s for Somerset? So we know one of them, James Hildreth, earlier this year got to 200. But how many have played 100 T20s for Somerset?
Lewis would have done it, I suspect.
I'm gonna throw out a name who was down on the team sheet every game for years, and that has got to be the Foms. Alfonso Thomas must be on that list, surely.
Yeah, and on that note, Maxi Waller probably is up
there
as well.
Yeah, must have been. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be Ben Green as we head back to tonight's cricket. And that one goes straight through Holman. And there's no run. That's a good-looking ball. I tell you what, Ben Green's...
He's bowling well to the left-hander. He's beaten the outside edge a couple of times from this end in previous overs. And he started with one there. Bowling really nicely, Ben Green.
Bowled really well last night at Gloucester as well. Sort of bowled some pressure overs and got his Yorkers in. He's a talented boy.
Yeah, useful player, very useful player. This one will go straight to the fielder, who's just got fine legs, sort of a wide.
That's good. I think we just got to get back to hitting that sort of length. You know, probably just went a little bit too full in the last over, maybe searching for that Yorker.
Yeah, DeLange got punished, certainly on that last ball, didn't he? Which was the attempted Yorker, just missing it. Not by much, but just missing it on the length.
You can see what he's trying to do. Just finish. They're on the ropes a little bit, Middlesex. Just finish them off with that another wicket or two.
It's probably tempting when you bowl a Yorker so well, you know, at a good pace to sort of go for those stumps, but you know, hitting the length that Green is hitting here, that's been so effective, isn't it?
Souter unable to do anything with that one.
Not giving them
Another
any
dot ball.
Not giving them any whip at all. And you've got two fielders. You've got short cover, mid wicket in your eye line as well, creeping in, just putting that extra bit of pressure. Just having the fielders in your eye line, is it a little bit of pressure psychologically?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just when you rely on your bowlers, isn't it, not to bowl the bad balls. You really do say on low-scoring games, you just need the balls to be absolutely consistent, line and length. As Green's in again, this one does offer a bit of width, but there is a man coming in from the boundary at third man. That's Brooks, who will do the fielding. So just a single, which after a couple of dots already in the over is not a bad result.
Yeah, lovely stuff this from Ben Green. Bowled his 4 overs last night as well. Didn't bowl in as much as he might have done in the early stages, but that again is a slight difference between the two sides. Somerset have got all those all-rounders, people that can do both, bat and bowl through the middle order.
Yeah, someone like Lewis Gregory. Big miss tonight, but the team doing well without him so far with the ball. And there's a chance of a run out if that hit. That would have been out. No dive offered from Souter, and he would have been short. Yeah. Again, the second time we're saying it in this innings, if there had been a direct hit. Again, it was a difficult point to throw from.
Yeah, twice Lewis Goldsworth. I mean, they're chances, but he's only got one stump to aim at. But Middlesex's running has not been convincing, though. There was never a run there, really. Not at all convincing at any point, really, from Middlesex. Those chances from the start all the way through to now. The run rate is 8.7, just worth keeping an eye on as Green's in over the wicket. And that will be a dot ball as well. Really good over, just the 3 singles from it. And Ben Green from 2 overs is no wickets for 6 runs. How important are those sorts of figures in a game like this?
Yeah, that's brilliant from Green, and he's sort of recognised, you know, what's been effective. The conditions kept it real simple. You know, he's asked them to hit him off a really tough length, which they've obviously not managed to do. And yeah, sort of if you can keep the rate going up, you know, more likely to sort of get opportunities to take wickets, I think.
Someone in the hang glider there, look, a late streaming style entry maybe. That would be a good picture. That is a definite winner if that's streaming style. Yeah, absolutely. What, from the view looking actually just straight down on the pitch, not even streaming, just watching it, bird's eye view. Beautiful. Ben Bourne will sign them up alongside his drone camera. Someone on the hang gliding. So Lammonby's going to come on at this end in place of Marchant DeLange, left armour. Gives himself a little bit of room. Holman squirts it out towards Will Smeed at deep cover, who does the fielding. Rate up to 8.89 and over. By comparison, Somerset were 105 for free. So a little bit behind, well, more than a little bit behind, really. 30 odd runs behind.
Yeah, obviously the back end of our innings, we sort of didn't quite get it right, did we? So I wouldn't read too much into that.
Yeah, it's difficult to make comparisons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although these early wickets will make a big difference here as well.
Lammonby continues, flicked into the leg side by Souter.
It's good, I think. Just cramp him for room, don't give him any width. It's perfect from Lammers.
Just get the single down to.
Doing a brilliant job for us here.
Eddie Byram, yeah.
Yeah, useful to have a left armour as well, isn't it? Coming in, just a bit of change.
Yeah, I mean, Lammers such a skillful cricketer. Offers a lot with the ball as well. Swings it in red ball cricket, and he's got good skills in white ball cricket as well.
Short, it's gone in the air. Holman has taken it. I think he's going to get 6 for that. He's taken it from outside off stump. It was too short, really. 6 runs. Luke Holman. Much needed boundary for Middlesex. They've moved on to 81. It was uppish. He wasn't in real control of it, but it's such a short boundary on this side, Charlie. You don't need to get that much of it, do you?
Yeah, no, he's got well enough of it, as we can see. Bounces into the car park. Bounces over the kids' heads. Watch this. Guy behind. Give it to the kids. No, just throw it straight back on the field. He was on the phone.
So nonchalant, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess you don't want as few people as possible touching the ball, so maybe he was thinking.
He didn't want anyone else to play.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
So he's got to come back. Good comeback there from Lammonby, outside off stump. A leave,
a
rare leave.
Oh, I love a leave when you see them.
But I like that from Luke Holman. It's sensible. He's got the 6 off the over. It's not like they need 12 and over here.
The way he's reacted there, I think he's thought, what am I doing?
He did walk away, didn't he, to square leg?
He's playing for batting bonus points here. That's what he wants.
Well,
and moving then outside off stump, thrashed away. Will Smeed's going to scramble round. He's really quick out there. And it's a good arm into Devon Conway and just a single. So after that, 6 a bit earlier in the over. Good comeback from Lammonby. He's got 1 ball left, 9 off it so far.
They're obviously starting to build a little partnership. You know, dragging themselves back into the game.
It's
Got
worth
to be
20.
patient. You know, keep doing the simple things well.
Final ball, the over down leg side. Is it going to be given the wide? The umpire held his arms in for a little bit, almost as if it had flicked a pad on the way through. But no, it's going to be a wide. So that's 10 off the over. Lamamy will have to bowl an extra ball. Partnership's up to 28 off 20. Things change very quickly in this format of the game, though.
Just trickling into the 60s now, the required number of runs.
Good comeback from Lamamy, flicked into the leg side. They're going to look for two, but I don't think they're going to get it. No, they're not even going to look for it. Craig Overton comes round, does the fielding, carries the ball back to the other end. Skipper has a word with Devon Conway. You're going to use all your senior players there. You've got 3 Test cricketers there. Devon Conway, Martian DeLanger, Craig Overton having a chin wag. We haven't seen a spinner yet. We haven't seen Max Waller. Haven't seen Lewis Goldsworthy.
A few happy customers there with their hampers. Having a great time on Gimblett Hill. I don't think you've got to open it up. It just looks like he's going to throw it somewhere, the way he was holding it there, like a shot put.
Interesting. We're going to see the skipper come back then. We can see he wants to break that partnership and he's going to take responsibility. Just his 1 over left.
Yep, so this is the final over from Craig Overton then, who we've talked about being better up top, better when you need a wicket. He was started off those that wicket taking with that one in the first over. We're bringing out the stumps of Eskenazi. What's he got here? 84 for 5 after 12 overs. Middlesex need 69. Overton in, and it's going to go over the head of the fielders. 1 bounce and 4 runs. Not a great start from Craig Overton. Going a bit full, and 4 runs straight away off this first ball of his last over.
Yeah, good shot that from Souter in T20. He's moved on to 19 off just the 12 balls. Looked uncomfortable early doors, didn't he, against Martian DeLanger, but played a couple of nice shots since.
Yeah, a little bit too full, I think, looking at it. We've talked about pace off as well from Tom Abel.
I think we've got to try and cramp him for room, get him hitting it to the leg side. He doesn't look quite as comfortable. Looks pretty good over the offside.
Yeah, gave him a bit of that licence on there, and he's just angled this one. That'll be picked up on the boundary by Eddie Byram. There's just a single there. Souter on 19, Holman there on 14. This has been a good rebuild. They were 55 for 5, so they've had a good 34 runs now together, these two.
I feel like we could be in for another nipper here. I'm getting a bit nervous.
We could be. The dark clouds. Looks like there's a little bit of rain coming down as well.
Overton in, and this one just has to go on his toes to angle the bat. Doesn't get it out of the 30-yard circle, but there's a safe single there for them. A quick look at the DLS is 96 here. That's because of those 5 wickets that have fallen. So 90 for 5 the score. If it ended now, there is a bit of rain around. If it ended now, we don't want it to end now, but Somerset fans wouldn't be too disappointed, I think, to see their side pick up the 2 points. But Middlesex may well, now it started raining, sort of had a look around and decided, right, we've got to get above that score. Doesn't look too threatening, I must say. Craig Overton in. This one pulled, but it will be stopped on the boundary. And Lammonby throws it in, 1 bounce, 2 bounce towards the keeper, and just the single there. Got to get the fielding right. It's just so important, isn't it, to make sure you're not giving away runs needlessly in the field.
Oh, this is the point, isn't it? In a tight game, if we get the full 20 overs, it looks like it's going to be quite tight, so you don't want to give away anything extra. So it's extras, it's not bowling those wides, not bowling those no balls, and being really tight in the field.
Overton in, and this one in the air. Is it going to land safe? Smead coming in, takes the catch. Takes the catch. We said Craig Overton brings himself on to take wickets. There it is. Holman's gone. He goes for 15. The score is 91 for 6 now, and Somerset, who are defending a very low total, are doing themselves proud. What a great start for Somerset now. 6 wickets gone, and Middlesex on the back foot.
Yeah, great stuff from the skipper, Craig Overton. Saw Luke Holman trying to give him some room, just followed him. Holman played that shot with 1 hand off the bat, went really near. He's disgusted with himself. He's still trudging off. He's really been admonishing himself for playing that shot. He knows that he had a big chance to bat through the overs and bring his team home there. But Craig Overton, the strike bowler, brought himself back on, and he has struck. He's got 3 for now.
Looked like he did him with a slow ball there, just sort of threw his shot too early. It's good bowling that from Craig.
Yeah, well, we've talked about
exactly
pace
what
off.
we needed.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, Tom? You're calling it. Here, see your captain's brain working. Pace off, getting the wickets. What can Craig Overton do here in his last over? This one, did he take an edge? No, it beats the bat. That is the end of Craig Overton for the night. Well, he'll still be captaining, of course, but fantastic work from Craig Overton. 3 for 28 from his 4 overs, and that is a captain's innings, if you like, with the ball, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely awesome from Craigo. Obviously taking responsibility there as well, which is good. But yeah, we needed to break that partnership, I think, because it was sort of getting them back into a pretty good position in the game.
7 overs left. The pass score is 104. There is a bit of drizzly rain around. Quick reminder, don't play Derbyshire here very often. I don't think I can remember for a long time seeing Derbyshire at Taunton. But that game coming up 25th July in the Royal London Cup. There's a beer and cider festival on during it. So if you fancy coming to watch Somerset take on Derbyshire in that format, 100 overs in a day, beer and cider, sounds pretty good to me.
I like this option as well.
Yeah, we're going to see Maxi Waller for the first time this evening. He's going to bowl to Tom Helm. Pushes down the ground. Just be a single, marching Delanger there. Tom Abel said he likes this option.
Yeah, I just think, after you take a wicket, they'll probably look to sort of try and work ones, whereas I think, it can be quite tricky against Maxi. Just a chance to sort of build a few dot balls maybe on the new batter, I reckon.
Googly there to Souter.
And also just changes up the pace a little bit. They got used to seamers. Just think it might change the pace up.
Smead does the fielding. They just get a single there. So Helm back on strike, new batter.
But he's also a wicket-taking option as well, isn't he, Waller?
100%.
Ooh, big shout.
I thought you called it, Charlie.
Umpire wasn't interested. Max Waller.
I did it earlier in the season. I called it, and it was a wicket the next ball. And it's great. It's the opposite of commentator's curse, and it's lovely when it happens, but mostly it doesn't.
See what we can do here. Wrong and again. Dance down the pitch. Straight back to Waller, though. Threatens the throw. Doesn't let go of it. Helm scrambles back. He wasn't to know that Waller wasn't going to throw, and this is a really great start from Max Waller. Just the 2 runs off 4 balls so far. That rates up to 9.5. Again, pushed down the ground by Helm, but it'll only be a single. Ben Green does the fielding in front of us. 1 ball left in the over. Max Waller. Could be a record-breaking night for Max Waller. See what happens if he takes a wicket. Push down the ground. Ben Green's going to do the fielding. No, he's not. In fact, Will Smead is so quick, he's going to get in front of him, get there first. Just a single off the over, off the ball even. 4 runs off it.
Really good over, just the 4 from it. And what I like about when Max Waller comes on, the crowd goes quiet just before he bowls. They want to see it. It's like watching a golfer tee off. Just taking a look at this Jack Brooks ball, and you can just see it beating the bat there. It's good to watch, isn't it, in slow motion. Just finding a little bit of movement. Yeah, really good. Just using the red ball disciplines he knows so well, having been, well, a county champion with Yorkshire, of course.
Twice, in fact.
Yeah.
That's why he was demanding the slow-mo camera was going to be on him tonight, earlier on today, wasn't he?
He certainly was. He wasn't playing without it. In comes Ben Green then. So a bit of pace from the other end, or medium pace from the other end, Ben Green. He's bowling pretty quick, really. I think as quick as I've seen him bowl. That's a single added.
Yeah, he's skillful. Probably try and sort of use all his variations, slow balls into the wicket. Bowls good Yorker as well.
Yeah, really.
God, I'm getting nervous here.
You can see it. It does. It's just what T20 does. The low-scoring games are the tense ones. 110 the pass score. The score is actually 96 for 6 here, so Somerset well on top there. Ben Green in, and that one straight back down the ground. Can the fielder get round in time? Yes, is the answer. So they'll just run a single. This is great stuff from the bowling attack. Somerset can be really pleased. Whatever happens from here onwards, certainly up to this point, Somerset have been really good with the ball. Can't really fault too much. We talked about Delanger trying to get a Yorker, but slightly missing his length on 1 or 2, but still, it's been very, very good. Green over the wicket. This one is a great big shot. It was a full ball, and Souter just playing through the line of it, really, and getting enough on it to take it over the infield. That'll be 4 runs to Middlesex, who will still fancy that they've got enough batting power to get there. Souter looking good.
Yeah, brings 100 up, so only 52 required now for them. Rate still up at 9.5 and over, though.
What can Green do? He's been hit for 4. And that one is a very good reply.
Come back.
Yeah.
He's done that almost always. What's he bowled? 16 balls now. Almost all of them there have been no width at all. The number of balls that he's fielded off his own bowling because the batter hasn't been able to get it away has been, well, pretty high tonight so far.
2 balls left in this over. Ben Green's third. He's gone for 0 for 12 so far. He's in again, and this again, no real width on it, and they'll come through for a single. There was an attempt at a run out. I don't think that was going to be a chance that there's a collision in the field, and you don't want to collide with Craig Overton. There's probably 2 players on this side you least want to collide with, and that is Craig Overton, Marchant de Lange.
I wasn't sure if he was running away to celebrate. I'm not sure. The umpire was doing the whole no look. He was, I think he was looking over his shoulder. It looks like he was
scrambling
quite safely.
Scrambling for the ball. I think Overton was watching the ball because they were looking at perhaps coming through for an overthrow. Green's in, and that one is in the air, and it's not going to be taken. It's going to land safe, and it's just a single there. The rain's still coming down here. 15 overs gone. Middlesex need exactly 50. They need to go at 10 and over. And we've got 5 overs to go. You can see some cricket being played out there in the car park. It's not just happening on the pitch, but for most of us, drawn in by this really tense, close game out on the pitch here. Tom, how are your nerves?
Oh, they're not great, to be honest.
You're a bad watcher of cricket.
Yeah, I am. And I sort of know how it feels to be sort of a Somerset supporter. You know, we've had some pretty close games over the last few years, and sort of certainly don't make it easy for the supporters sometimes, do we?
Well then, down the ground, Tom Helm. We can only get it to a single to Ben Green. One of the most experienced Somerset bowlers out there.
I tell you what, that rain is heavier now.
Yeah, you can just
the
see
rain
it,
is
can't you?
heavier. Probably not showing up on your screens. It doesn't tend to, but it is quite thick drizzle.
They'll keep going. Push down the ground again from Souter. They'll just take the single. Will Smead will do the fielding. The DLS par is 114, and it was before that ball. It might just tick up. Yeah, it's 115 now. Every ball now, that run rate required just pushes up. 10.29 now. 48 needed. Waller gets through the overs quickly. Down the ground. He just held it up. So Helm had to wait for it. And Green, a busy man down at long on. Off Max Waller, and it's just 3 singles to start the over, Charlie. Really good stuff from Max.
Yeah, just keeping an eye. Ben Green's the one with the towel hanging out the back pocket of his trousers.
Oh, yeah, it's really coming down now. You can see it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go back out in this weather, that's for sure. Full toss in the air. Smead's coming round. Oh, no. It looked like it. I'm not quite sure he got to it. Either bounced just before him or he took it very low on the ground, but not a wicket, but it's just a 1 run.
Yeah, certainly wasn't what Max Waller was hoping to do with it. It was a bit of a full toss down the leg side, as we'll see. But in the end, Smead very nearly getting there. Oh, close.
He made good ground there, Will Smead.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went off soon. This rain is quite heavy now.
Waller then. Wrong one again. Punched through the covers. De Lange does the fielding. There's going to be a single. Yeah, you're right. I can't see them being out there much longer.
Umpire, just watching the umpire. Well, Somerset won't mind. 119 is the par. Incredibly, on this low-scoring game, they've managed to get Middlesex to be behind par. You can see it there. It's easier when you look into a light. You can see the rain around the side of the floodlight there. Max Waller will continue. Must be hard for a spinner. The ball must be soaking.
Yeah, finishes the over. Down the ground, in the air. That's going to go over Smead, I think it is. Yeah, it's gone for 6 there. Nathan Souter, it's gone into his highest ever score. You can see the supporters. They're moving away from their seats, trying to take shelter. They're going to go off after this ball. Now, they've gone for 6, so they're still behind the DLS par, 119 though, so they're much closer. So actually, keeping them out there for that extra ball could have been costly, because the conditions are no different a ball later than they were before that 6. I'm not sure what the cut. We'll work out what the cut-off time is, but it's going to be a shame because this was setting up to be a tense one. But if you look around, lots of grey sky, and it's going to be difficult to come back out, I think.
You can see 9:18 is cut-off, doesn't it?
Yeah, so 9:18 would be the cut-off. I wonder if there's a time, if losing overs, but even then you haven't got many overs to lose, just the 4 to play with. I've got a feeling this might be it. This is quite a thick drizzle. Now, Somerset, as a fan, you wouldn't mind that. 2 points in the bag, but Middlesex, clearly they know what's happening. That 6, I think, is going to be a direct, looking at the rain, looking at the DLS score. Clearly still not enough. The DLS par score is 119. They're on 114.
It's going to be a nervous wait.
This is a really nervous wait.
Yeah.
This could be the difference between going to the top of the table or dropping out of the top 4. I mean, this is really, it's so tight. I'll quickly run through the table, actually, just because for those who haven't been keeping up with it, it has changed a lot this week because of all those games. Somerset are 4th at the moment before this game started. and they are 1 point off top place Surrey. I mean, that is so tight at the top, isn't it? There's 1 point separating Surrey, Sussex, Kent, Gloucestershire and Somerset, who now actually have dropped down into 5th because of results happening elsewhere.
And Kent and Surrey are playing each other as we speak. So Kent made 191 for 4. Surrey need 108 off 11.1 overs. So they're 84 for 1. Crucially for them, though, Will Jacks, a man who has been setting this competition alight so far. He's got 62 unbeaten off 35 balls.
So we've got, what have we got? 16 minutes till the cut-off time. The rain is quite heavy, Tom, isn't it? They're looking out there. That is quite a heavy rain. We weren't really expecting too much around here. I mean, it would have been on the radars. Middlesex probably would have been aware. It's the sort of thing I guess you'd talk about if there was rain around, you're playing a T20. You'd certainly be aware of making sure you're up with the DLS, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I don't know if there was sort of any thoughts about the weather later in the game, but obviously it's been drizzling for a while now, hasn't it? And I think it would have always been in the back of their minds, well, for both teams really, but they obviously had to bat in a way that, you know, to give themselves a chance at the back end of the innings, which they've done. And obviously, yeah, it looked like they were going to go off there. But it's difficult because they obviously were playing catch up a little bit.
Yeah, and it's those wickets which make all the difference in a DLS run chase, isn't it? Really, you think the wickets make it different. We're just finishing off our last Streaming Style winner here, Tom. Let's get your thoughts on this. Look at that, got the Craig Overton shirt frame. Is this called Jay Overton, or someone's got in touch with this one? No, it's a guy called Nick.
Where's my shirt?
Well, clearly he's chosen his favourite player there, Tom. Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
I don't blame you, to be fair.
I'm sure he
would have a Craig Overton shirt in my flat as well.
Maybe he's got a signed Tom Abel bat, but yeah, he's got the
lot
Somerset
of alcohol
cap
there as well.
Yeah, he's gone for the Thatchers. So well done, Nick. Get yourself a prize tonight. And as we look at it, you can see that the groundsmen actually hurrying here. I think they know when they put out those ground sheets. Maybe they're helping out Somerset here by making sure it's going to be a long clean-up process. But they tend to know, don't they, what's coming? And I get the impression from that this rain might be around for a while.
It's hard. I guess obviously they're looking to protect the wicket for the championship game at the weekend as well. Sure. And then they'll protect the bowlers' run-ups as a priority.
Well, Somerset won't mind seeing these covers come out. Of course we want cricket. Of course, that's always the case. We want to see cricket played. But if there has to be a rain break, you want Somerset to be ahead on the DLS, which is what they are. So
horrible being behind on Duckworth Lewis, obviously, and then can't do anything about it. So
yeah. Well, let's just talk about those wickets then. Somerset, who have managed to take 6 of them. And it's that reason that the Middlesex are behind the DLS. A wicket really makes the DLS shoot up, that pass score shoot up every time you take one. So it's because of those early wickets, early breakthroughs, that Somerset find themselves in a really strong position here. Who's been your pick of the bowlers so far? And that can be wicket takers or maybe someone who's been able to keep it tight.
It's like asking me to choose my favourite son, Charlie. Not that I have any kids, but I mean, you've got to look at Craig. Yeah, I mean, obviously the way Craig's bowled at the top has really set the tone, and he bowled with great energy and made it really difficult for them up top. But equally, I would highlight Greener, the role he's played sort of through the middle overs. He's looked really hard to get away and hit a really good length as well. And I'd imagine his figures are looking pretty good.
Just got the 3 overs for 14 runs.
Yeah,
so a tight game like this is magnificent.
Yeah,
stuff,
so of course wickets are key, but equally you want to sort of build that pressure and keep it dry, and Green has done that brilliantly. But as a whole bowling unit, I think you've got to bowl well as a unit if you're going to defend 152, and it's obviously not done yet, but hopefully the boys can get over the line.
That's what's brilliant about this Somerset T20 side. Everyone's bowled really well. 6 bowlers used. Lewis Goldsworthy, who's been arguably one of the leading bowlers in the tournament so far for Somerset. He's bowled pretty much 3 or 4 overs every game. He hasn't been required yet. So there's so many options, and you can rely on everyone. Tom Lammonby, just gone for the 16 off his 2 overs, has barely bowled this season. Ben Green as well has played a couple of games bowling very little. It's a really useful part of modern cricket, isn't it? That actually you bring a batsman through, and quite often, well, a bit like yourself, Tom, you know, they're useful with ball in hand as well. It just on a T20 side where you're limited so much by how many each bowler can bowl, it gives you that option as a captain. It must be great to captain a side where you can think, right, well, this isn't going right, so let's choose one of the others. It is, yeah, and I guess sort of when we're on the academy, you know, we dedicate a lot of time to both batting and bowling.
And it just helps with the balance of the side, really. You know, it means you can sort of pick all rounders, and then it elongates your batting line up. And equally, you have sort of options with the ball, because often, you know, when you've got 5 bowlers, there's always a chance that someone might go the distance. Whereas if you've got a couple of guys that offer you something different with the ball, you know, you might be able to get a couple of overs out of them here and there, and it makes a big difference.
If you are just coming back to us, maybe you popped away for a bit, or first time you're tuning in tonight, there is a lot of rain around. So what you're watching is a replay of Somerset's first innings. I'm sure there'll be replays as well as we'll watch Somerset's bowling as well when we get there. Just to let you know, it is raining here in Taunton. And I must say, it's got really dark and grey here. Now, I'm not trying to talk the umpires into calling this game off, but it is a lot greyer than we expected, I think. Rain is falling quite thickly. There's the covers being brought on, covering now the entire square, as well as the bowlers' run-ups. So the groundsmen doing the best they can to keep the rain off. But Somerset, the important news is that Somerset are doing well as far as DLS is concerned. The par score for Middlesex is 119, and at the moment they're 114 for 6. So if it ends now, and the cut-off time is 18 minutes past 9, which is in exactly 10 minutes. If it ends now, Somerset will pick up 2 very crucial points in the quest for qualification. So Somerset not feeling too bad. Let's talk a bit more about some of those talking points from the start of the innings then, while we're watching the batting. We've got to talk about that run out which happened. Tom, I'll get your thoughts on it now. Obviously it's hard for us to know exactly whether it was on the rope or not. What do you think was happening in the middle then with the running? Because clearly there was, maybe they thought, like we did, it was going to go for 4, caught them out a bit.
Yeah, look, if I'm honest, I think it looked a good bit of fielding. Personally, I'm not sure he touched the rope, but I guess, you know, probably just got caught ball watching a little bit. And often when that's the case, you know, your sort of communication breaks down, and obviously Devon sort of got caught in the middle of the wicket. It's never ideal. It's never a nice feeling when you're the one sort of that stays in and your partners run out, but that's part of the game sometimes. Obviously what's important is how you sort of react and come back from that.
Yeah, and let's talk about Somerset's reaction, because actually that it wasn't great, was it really, with the way that the wicket started to fall after that point? And we've talked about this pitch maybe not being the belting T20 pitch we thought it would turn out to be, but still there were some shots in there which I guess as a member of the team you'd be disappointed with watching them.
I mean, I feel like it's a pretty good wicket, to be honest. I just don't think we got it right with the bat. We didn't take enough responsibility. Maybe looked a bit too far ahead too soon. You know, we always bang on about sort of trying to build those partnerships, and even in 2020 cricket, you know, you do have a bit of time to establish those partnerships, and we didn't do that. Again, it is disappointing, but we're learning. You know, it's happened a couple of times in this competition, and there's been times when we sort of played those periods really well. So it's certainly an area we can sort of continue to develop, and we will do. But what's important is we've got a score on the board, and obviously the way we've been bowling in this competition, you know, we knew we had half a chance.
And if we look at those first Somerset side, if you take that first game this season in T20, the top 4 opening up with Banton in Hildreth, then Van der Merwe, and then you, Tom. All 4 of those players not available to Somerset. Now that's bound to change how you bat. Okay, the overseas players come in, which is obviously great. But actually, that's a side that you've set up for. That's the team you trained for. And actually, to take out the top 4 that way is going to make a difference, Sam.
Yeah, a huge difference. And then Lewis Gregory would be penciled in to come in at maybe 6, maybe even 5 if there were a chance to score quick runs. Tom Lammonby is back in tonight, but before the season started, he would have been penciled in for this side as well. So it just shows the strength in depth of this squad, and everybody is capable. We've seen even the inexperienced players, they've not looked like they've been under pressure. Somerset have 16, 17, 18 guys who they know can all come in and do a job, and most of them can do a couple of bits as well. They can bat and bowl. You know, Max doesn't really bat, but he's an all-rounder because of his fielding, so it's brilliant stuff.
Yeah. It's a difficult format, I think, to come in as a younger guy, to come in and, you know, it can be pretty ruthless, and it's a highly pressurised environment. You know, there's no sort of, you don't have much time to sort of play yourself in or get used to conditions, and obviously in the field, you know, there's always the pressure on. You've got to be right on it, as we've spoken about. So yeah, again, sort of full credit to the guys that have come in and performed so well.
Let's talk about the response then after the interval, because we talked about the batting not quite being up where Somerset would want it to be, but the bowling is a different story. Tom, wicket in the first over, never look back.
Yeah, the way you set the tone is so key, and Craigo delivers day in, day out for us. Equally, Brooksy, brilliant as well. And obviously getting 3 down, was it 3 in the power play? It sets the batting team back a long way. So yeah, obviously a dream start for us, but it was important that we sort of maintain that and keep the pressure on, and we did that really well as well.
Yeah, so the score, if you're just joining us, 114 for 6 at Middlesex were before the rain came. And the DLS pass score here, we've had 16 overs, so it's definitely going to be a result tonight. The DLS pass score is 119, so they're 5 runs behind it. If it ends now, and there are only more covers being brought on, I'm afraid to say, if it ends now, Somerset will pick up 2 points and will make a good step towards the top of the table.
Yeah, and Middlesex will be really disappointed because they're 5 runs behind, but it doesn't quite tell the full picture. This partnership was worth 23 off 19. Nathan South was in there, hitting it really well. It's his career best, 37 off 24 balls. So kudos to him for coming in at a very difficult stage. So actually, although they've only got 4 wickets left, in T20 when it were down to less than 40 runs required, so they would have been in with a good shout. They would have felt they could have won this game if they'd batted out.
Yeah, well, they will certainly, heading back to London, if it does end like this, and I must say the cut-off time, what are we now, 5 minutes away from it, only more covers coming on. I think it looks unlike one of those nights where it's drizzly, but it's a constant rain, and it's the sort of thing that gets the ground soaked. Actually, when you're out there playing, the ball just is wet constantly, isn't it? There's no way of protecting it.
Yeah, obviously a lot of covers on now, and it's a bit of a shame because I think it was, all coming to a pretty tight finish. Could have been sort of another really good spectacle, but obviously going to be slightly biased and pretty happy that we're on the right side of Duckworth Lewis currently.
Well, that makes a rain stoppage all the more enjoyable, really, doesn't it? Because actually, if you think, for Middlesex fans now who may well be watching this at home, what a frustrating night. A trip out a long way west. You get here, you're 4 overs away, you're actually getting back into it, as Sam was saying. That partnership wasn't looking too bad. South are there on 37. And then you find yourself just 5 runs short of the DLS.
And more than that, it's not just about tonight. That's almost terminal, I think, for their hopes of qualifying. Yeah. Their hopes were quite slim, but they've come into a bit of form, won a couple of games, found a formula that works for them, got both their overseas main choices here. And actually, if they'd have won this game, suddenly they're up to 9 points and putting a bit of pressure on the teams at the top. And all of a sudden, they're going to stay on 7. They've only got 3 games left. So for them, a really disappointing way to go out of the tournament, or almost go out of the tournament, particularly given their red ball tribulations. So they'll turn to the Royal London Cup and they'll come back. But yeah, as a cricketer, to be almost pushed out of a tournament due to rain, you'd rather be out there, at least lose the game of its own right, than lose because the rain started raining on a Friday night.
Let's quickly run you through some other scores here. We'll look at the South Group first of all. There's been a result already in the South Group. Glamorgan were taking on Sussex Sharks. Sussex scored 201 for 8, so a decent score in Cardiff. Glamorgan all out for 168. The other result currently is from the North Group. Notts Outlaws made 177 for 9. They bowled Birmingham Bears out for 63. I mean, that is an absolutely huge win, considering 177 for 9 isn't, a massive score in T20 cricket. It's a good score, but it's not a massive score. So to win by 114 is a very good result for them and Nottinghamshire. With Trigo scoring in there, 12 runs.
It shows how quickly the game of T20 can change. Only 2 nights ago, they were bowling Yorkshire Vikings out for 81 and knocking them off for a 10-wicket win. So this game changes, fluctuates rapidly.
Yeah, the Rose Battle of War of the Roses is going on up north. Yorkshire taking on Lancashire. Yorkshire made 180. Lancashire in reply 148 for 4. They need 33 runs from 13 balls, so they're going to have to hit out there. They've got wickets in hand, Lancashire. They should be able to do something with that.
Big partnership as well. The current partnership, though, is worth 79 or 45.
There we go. Well, that's an interesting finish in the
so they were in real trouble.
Across the Pennines. That one's taking place at Headingley. In our group, back to the South Group, Hampshire Hawks having a pretty poor season. 176 for 6. Gloucestershire chasing. They need 72 from just over 7 overs. So they need to go at 10 and over. They're 2 wickets down. Gloucestershire should be able to do that, you'd have thought. But Hampshire in with a chance of of winning one there.
Crucially, they've got Mr. Phillips at the crease, who's 45 not out off just 28 balls. He hit 4 sixes.
Let's, Tom, what was your reaction when Phillips got out last night for single figures?
Yeah, I was obviously elated. It was nice sort of seeing Lewis take his off stump out of the ground. Looked like a really good ball. He's obviously been flying for them. Quality player, and I was chatting to Jace earlier. He was talking about obviously how it affected them in the dugouts. You know, he's been playing so well for them, and then when you lose a player of that sort of calibre in that manner, I think it can probably deflate you a little bit. So yeah, it was a massive wicket, of course, big player for them. So yeah.
And then the last one to mention in the South group, Kent Spitfires against Surrey. This is a key fixture. Two teams doing very well this season, although Somerset have absolutely thrashed Kent twice. For anyone who enjoyed watching those streams, I certainly did enjoy commentating on the one here. Kent made 191 for 4 runs coming there for Leaning, who made 50. Jordan Cox there, 61 not out, 36 for Denley, 24 for Crawley. But Surrey in reply going nicely, 121 for 1 off 13 overs, and that is Will Jacks on 80 not out and Laurie Evans on 31 not out. So Surrey look like they're doing pretty well in that chase. Still need 71 runs from the 7 overs remaining. Back here in Taunton, we are at the cut-off time. Now that does tend to change a little bit with things like this. We are going to be keeping you updated. Just to let you know, we haven't heard of the game being called out. In fact, the umpires are just coming out of the Andy Caddick Pavilion as we speak, so we'll keep an eye on them. It's still raining, still drizzling here a fair bit. And we'll keep an eye on the umpires. They're just crossing the boundary rope now. Hard to see this starting again. Tom, you'll have played a lot of cricket looking out on the rain like this. Hard to see it getting going again, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure they're getting back out there. Can't actually see the umpires, but I'd imagine, yeah, they'll be calling it to a head.
Yeah, I just can't see them going.
Not with the full covers on. You know, that's going to take another 10 minutes to get the covers off.
Still decent numbers in the ground.
Yeah, well, they're waiting. I guess there are a lot of them in the Somerset stand waiting with umbrellas. I guess they'll be keen to hear the moment that it's called off, because that is 2 points and Somerset on a really good run. And actually played really well. Deserve a win here because of how well they've bowled today.
Yeah, they've been superb. I can't see this being it's already a longer conversation than I thought it might be. I thought it would be a relatively quick one. I mean, they do everything they can to get the game going these days, but it's just so slippery. You've got to get out there pretty quickly because of the time, and it's just going to be so slippery in the outfield. I'm not sure how you can really expect Somerset to go back out and field in this.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think Somerset would have a right to feel pretty aggrieved if they were made to come back out. And
I don't know if is there half an hour that you've got to play with or something, because I guess that cut-off time is assuming that there's no rain.
Yeah, it is. So that's why that moves. So the umpires, the reason it hasn't been cut off yet or called off yet, even though we're 2 minutes beyond that, is because, as Tom says, there is some time allowed for this sort of thing.
Maybe half an hour's grace or something.
Yeah, and we've only got 4 overs left to go, so it should only take 15 minutes to get through that. Obviously, they're death overs, so it can take a bit longer, but it just depends how long they're willing to leave
the covers
it.
off, and
yeah, with the covers, and then also the ground being so wet, you wonder whether they do something to try and break that up a little bit, because it'd be dangerous to go running around full pelt in these greasy conditions, wet conditions.
And the ball, every time it goes along the ground, they can have to dry it again. And if your quick bowlers bowling it, I just can't really see how they can.
It certainly works in Middlesex's favour massively, doesn't it? If they're called back out here, Somerset are in a position where if it's called off, they win, and if not, Middlesex will have licence. Easier to bat, I guess, in rain than it is to bowl and field in rain, and they'll have licence just to absolutely hit out and get their score above that DLS score, which would, you'd feel, be a bit unfair on Somerset. So we'll clearly coming at it from a Somerset perspective here, but the rain's still coming down. That's the key. The umpires will be reluctant to bring them back out if it is still raining. The problem will be if it stops raining and it's still wet and they've still got the covers on. They've still got time before they have to stop. They're going over. They're having a... No, they are. I thought they were going to chat to the Somerset players, but they're not. They're walking past them, heading back into the pavilion. Here we go. Oh, they are having a chat with the Middlesex players there. We've got our cameraman down
Good
there.
work from the cameraman there.
Yeah, any chance you could just hear what they're saying? Just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. They're waiting around. The body language of Middlesex doesn't look good, does it? They don't look delighted at the news that they've been given, which would, to me, suggest A bit of a smile from Stephen Finn there.
Yeah, they'll be desperate to get back out there.
Yeah,
and
hence why
finish
they're
it off.
waiting like that, I should think. Still padded up.
They need 2 points here.
Hard to know what's going on. Who's the body language expert? It doesn't look great to me. There's a bit of a, what was that? Fist pump, which is that a good thing? I don't know. This is impossible to tell. We're desperately trying to work out what's going on here. We'll keep you posted, of course. In the meantime, you can get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. At CharlieTaylor4 on Twitter. At CharlieTaylor4. Sam, you're on Twitter as well. Remind me what...
Oh, I am. I'm Sammy D767, but
Sammy
it's an old handle.
767. You seem so embarrassed by it. Was it named after a plane? Is that a 767?
It's a very long... No, it wasn't. It's a very, very long story, which I won't go into now.
Is it not broadcastable? Is that why you're not going
No,
into it?
I mean, it's perfectly broadcastable. It's just very boring and doesn't make any kind of sense.
That's unbroadcastable to
yeah,
me.
Exactly. So
yeah.
in that sense...
Let's leave it. And, of course, Tom also on Twitter. But, you know, he gets so many mentions, he probably won't see your message come through.
Well, it depends how it's going.
Sometimes you're not on Twitter, you know, if you...
Well, yeah, when things are going well, it's nice, obviously, get some amazing messages.
That's the news we were waiting for. The match has been abandoned. Somerset have won this on DLS by 5 runs. And that is the end of the game. Tom, thoughts on that, first of all? Not a great total to start with, but Somerset came back really well into that.
Yeah, we'll take the points. Probably got out of jail a little bit. Yeah, again, probably not quite got it right with the bat again, but the way we sort of responded and fronted up with the ball and in the field was brilliant. And yeah, it's just 2 points, isn't it? Which is so key given the state of the table at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's quickly look through the table. I doubt my one will have updated quite that quickly, but Somerset will, if I just add on the 2 points here, can tell you that they'll move up to having 14 points, which as it stands would put them top of the table. Gloucestershire's still in action. If they win, they'll also go up to 14. Their run rate is at the moment slightly better than Somerset's, but Sam, top of the table, that will feel pretty sweet for Somerset, looking down on all the other 8 clubs there.
Yeah, even if it's only for a relatively short time, they put themselves in a really good position after a tricky start to the competition. What's that? Just 1 defeat in 9 now. A couple of games rained off, but some very good wins as well. And who we still got to play? We've still got the Derby, Gloucestershire on the final day of not the season, but of this group stage still to come. So yeah, a little bit of a break now. It's going to be for the first time this year. We're going to oscillate between red ball and white ball cricket. But yeah, what a perfect place to be as we go back into the county championship.
Let's say thank you to Tom Abel. Tom, that was absolutely great. Thanks for your insight.
Pleasure, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Helping us from the commentary box. See Somerset through to another win. See your
I'll have to get back in next time, yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed you're back out on the pitch soon. It's been great having you, and all the best with the
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
recovery.
it. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Tom Abel, club captain, and currently out of the side with a hamstring injury. Let's head down now to Matchday Mark, who can bring us a bit of analysis and reaction.
Has been abandoned. Victory for Somerset, courtesy of DLS, and Somerset's captain for the night, Craig Overton. First of all, Craig, reaction to the umpire's decision to call the game off?
Obviously, it's frustrating. We obviously want to play a full game, but obviously we'll take the 2 points and run a little bit. I don't think we played to our best. Obviously, getting bowled out in 18 overs is never ideal in a T20, but the way the boys fought in that second half of the innings to get those wickets to get us into a position where we can potentially win the game was massive for us and shows the character of the side.
Yeah, batting-wise, probably 20, 25 runs short, but let's concentrate on the bowling because so many people stepped up to the mark. Ben Green, for instance, Tom Lammonby, lots of others who didn't give that many runs away tonight, and wickets coming at vital stages for you. Yeah, no, it shows that the strength that we've got in our squad. Greeno and Lammers don't generally bowl in our T20 side, but the conditions suited them today and they bowled really well and they did a job for us and obviously picked up 2 or 3 crucial wickets for us, and which sort of pegged them back a little bit, which meant that we could get on top of the game. And from your point of view, Craig, first time captaining T20, obviously you must have enjoyed the experience, but how did you find it out there? A lot more to think about. Yeah, it's a bit of chaos really. It was a bit of a challenge. Obviously it's a new thing for me, but hopefully I don't have to do too many more, and Lewis is back for the next game. But obviously good fun, but obviously hopefully Lewis is back soon. 3 games to go now in the group stages. You're up there really in contention now. You've got to carry this form forward because after those first 2 games of the season when it didn't go well, you've really hit some good form, haven't you, over the last 2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, no, we have, and hopefully
we've got that bit of momentum with us now. We've got those wins on the board, and we've got some big games coming up. I think if we win 2 out of the 3, I think we'll get a quarter-final place. Is what we want as a side. We're still developing as a side, which showed in those first 2 games, but we've continued to grow, and hopefully we can continue that momentum for the next 3 games.
Craig, thank you very much indeed to you and the team tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Overton. Thank you, Craig. Great stuff from Somerset tonight, particularly in the bowling department. So it's victory again for Somerset tonight against Middlesex. 2 more points, and that'll do them power of good near the top of the South Group table. So that's it from us tonight.
Well, there you go. That is the end of a bit of a wet night, but a good one for Somerset. 2 points gained for the team. They moved to top of the table. They'll certainly be joint there for a moment. In fact, the table has updated. That looks great. Somerset top. Played the same amount of games as Surrey and Sussex, who are both on 13 points. Surrey are in action. They will have played 1 more by the end of the night. Kent on 13. Gloucestershire currently on 12. They're in action, and Essex on 11. So Somerset looking good on 14 points, having played 11. Sam, thanks so much for your company tonight. Another win that we've seen here. 1 more game at home before the quarterfinals. So that will be on the 18th of July against Gloucestershire.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm just updating my spreadsheet. I'm a bit of a geek. I'm updating it as we speak, putting the W in. 5 wins in the last 6 from Somerset, top of the table. All smiles this evening.
Yeah, absolutely great. Thank you very much, Sam Dowling. Thanks very much to our guest, Tom Abel, tonight. Hopefully he'll be back out playing very soon. I'm Charlie Taylor. Thanks for watching, and we'll join you for the next live stream. It seems a bit of a way away, but it's the 18th of July. Pop it in your diaries, and we'll be here for that Sunday lunchtime game against local rivals Gloucestershire.